By Chongfeng's birthday 10. And also, who told you that I want to climb into your mother's bed? Auntie, of course. Due to his innocence, Bai Xiachen has mistakenly brought disaster upon the demon princess who only wanted to do good. Good. Di Tsong's tone promptly got frosty for a brief second there. Very good. I will remember her work. For the baby boy, he naturally wouldn't miss the strange anomaly. Giving a shiver, why do I feel like being remembered by Batty Father is a very bad thing? Achoo! I'm guessing it's your brother if anything. Chui notes from the side and earns a horrid response. I hope it's not him and someone else. The demon princess shudders at the thought. Being missed by my brother is too scary. Xiao Yun. It was then that Chui caught a glimpse of their long-awaited guest from afar. Look over there. It's your family. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases lighting up at that info. Lan Xiaoyun didn't take much to notice his grandfather leading the pack over to their position, making a cute and excited face as she waved at them. Grandfather, elder brother, second brother. Her actions immediately caught the attention of the party. You are all finally here. I and cousin have been waiting forever for all of you. Making a cough to clear his throat, the one to speak out was old Lord Lan. Let's go. I want to meet Yenner. By the way, explain the details to me about what's happened thus far. All right. Watching as the family group went ahead before themselves, Di Xiaowan suddenly turns to his rival friend Chui. I heard your holy land is in the same league as the medicine sect around here. How come your side didn't send people over for Lord Bai's birthday? Of course it's not like that. My brother merely doesn't like to show himself before the prearranged time. Stretching those beautiful arms out against the open sky, Chui doesn't seem to be satisfied with her teasing yet. Let's go back and rest. I'm sure your own brother is already looking for you. This promptly raised a sour face onto the demon princess who instinctively stopped herself from walking. Do you even want me to go back anymore? Why are you trying to scare me so much? Humph, that's because my mood is not happy. Who can you blame but yourself for being Bai Yan's sister-in-law? I was supposed to be in that position. All droopy in her eyes now, Chui stares directly at the demon princess. Like you would understand my emotions? Despite my fondness for Bai Yan, it's you who got to be what I wanted. So what's wrong with scaring you? If I don't scare you a bit, then I can't soothe my annoyance. Fine, fine, fine. Out of consideration for your bad mood, I will overlook it this time. All smiles now. Di Xiaowan happily cocks her chin high into the air like the winner. However, that was a mistake. What are you still standing there for? Seeing her friend not moving still, Chui decides to shoot another killing blow to hurt her counterpart. If you don't move it, then your brother might just come out here in person. By then, the consequences would be far worse than just making him wait. Shuddering in cold sweat at the terrifying thought, Di Xiaowan ended up running over in haste at the end despite her hesitation. Finally, the day for Bai Chongfeng's birthday has arrived, and so did the curtain become drawn for the glorious era of the Lan House. Whether it be the members of the medicine sect or other powers invited to attend, everyone was showing absolute respect for the old house chief and his family. Return to the demon realm, 1. In particular were the 2 unmarried young masters of the Lan House. Since they still needed a proper wife, it's no wonder the female disciples, from young to old, would swarm around the boys like moths to a burning flame. Because of this incident, neither brother would dare to step out of their rooms and cause them to miss the rare opportunity to explore. Fortunately, the date of the celebration was at hand, thus allowing the 2 siblings to heave a sigh of relief. Nighttime. The Lord of the Demon Beast sect has arrived. The Elder of the Misty Fairy House has arrived. The Holy Land's young lord. Numerous announcing voices were abnormally crisp and clear despite the vast number of sound signatures in the air. For everyone else, this was undoubtedly a day worthy of celebration and a joyous occasion. Yet it was Bai Yan herself who seems to be the most restless as she eyed the outside for some unknown reason. Cousin. It was just then a voice comes up from the back. Turning around, she looks up to find a familiar figure. Second cousin? Something wrong? Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Well, Lan Xiaoyan calmly nods. I know you are waiting for your brother. I want you to know he's already left. Left. Bai Yan's palm immediately fell into a tight clench of discomfort. He left? Why? Where did he go? The boy's the first person she met when she fell into this strange and unknown world, and it was also he who gave her warmth and unforgettable care when no one else would. Now that she's able to give him a stable life, he leaves? Why? For what reason? Little cousin asked me to pass on a message to you. Bai Xiao said you are growing too fast and too high, so much so that he couldn't keep up at this rate. Therefore, he could only use his own method to catch back up to you and not be left behind. A sheen of complicated emotions ran through Lan Xiaoyan's iris after those words. He also said you are the one he must protect with everything he has in this life. When he's grown and strong enough, he will surely return to your side. Bai Yan's heart trembled at that notion, pursing her already dry lip. That silly boy. Cousin, you don't have to worry about your brother. He will take good care of himself. If fate permits, we will meet again very soon for sure. Lan Xiaoyan was honestly in pain over Bai Yan's saddened face. I believe in Shower. My brother will always be the best. That's right, one day he will return home to my side. Let's go. Not waiting for the boy to speak first, Bai Yan decides to take the lead. My grandfather's birthday feast has begun. Let's go inside. But before she took the last step inside, the woman didn't forget to cast one final glance at the darkness of this night. Brother, I believe in you and that we will meet again very soon. Somewhere inside a secluded valley, the stars were exceptionally bright as they twinkled with light. Bai Xiao, what's wrong? The young man further ahead of the pair asks his companion. Nothing, it's fine. Let's go. The other teen replies like it's nothing despite looking over in the direction of the medicine sect. Do you really want to go to that place? I say we should just lose the idea. That place really isn't suitable for anyone. You should return to the demon realm, too. I'm set on this. The teen's eyes were firm and unyielding. You only need to lead me there. When the time comes you can stay outside and wait for me. Nonsense. When the friend heard this, he immediately grew angry. Am I that type of person who only knows how to cower away in front of death? If I'm brave enough to enter the dragon's den, then I sure as hell would go with you. Against his friend's words, Bai Xiao only grew more firm, like he's even convinced his choice today was the right one. Wait for me, sister. Once I have enough strength, then I will definitely return to protect you. When the time comes, I will let you see a brand new me. On the day of the birthday celebration, everything went as smoothly as one could hope, thus signaling the time for Bai Yan to leave with Di Song for the demon realm. However, Bai Chongfeng didn't know this until the last second. In the end, the old grandpa cried his hearts out with tears flowing and even managed to infect his great-grandson to cry with him. If not for Bai Yan moving quick to nab Bai Shachan away with her, the baby boy would have agreed to stay. No! Di Song outright refuses the request. There's good reason for his firm answer. Instead of crying out with a plead like Bai Yan's subordinate there, Mo Li Shang, new teen, on the other hand, has been tailing the family from behind in silence like a pitiful pet not wanting to be abandoned behind by his owner. I will be back very soon. You two stay here and wait for me. Bai Yan didn't want to hurt these two but figured it's best she didn't bring them either way. They're simply not fit to accompany her on this journey. Tearing up hard now, when Ru eyes the woman like he's just faced the biggest indignation. Yenner, you couldn't be abandoning me again? I can cook, clean the cat, and I can also warm your... But before that last tidbit of the sentence could be said, Di Song have already made his mad dash by rushing in front of the teen. In one swift grab of the collar, the Demon King unkindly tosses the challenger into the far-off horizon until that figure was nothing but a spot of light. I alone am enough to warm her bed. Aside from murder and fighting, he has no other talent with the exception of being the bed warmer. But now even that's being robbed from him? Of course Di Song wouldn't tolerate such insolence. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Uncle Mo? Bai Shachan finally speaks up after the small charade. The place Mother and I are going is somewhere Uncle can't go. However, I will miss Uncle a lot, so wait for us." Against that soft and cuddly voice, that glistening babyish eye, Emily Shang simply for the love of God couldn't say no to it. Giving a nod, "Okay. Mother, let's go home." Turning around, Bai Shachen makes the cheekiest smile to his old man like someone trying to gloat. Go home. Despite being looked down upon, Ditsong didn't mind. Just those words alone were enough to send his mood into an absolute delight. "Come, we will go home." Sweeping up the kid in one hand, he then grabs a hold of his wife's hand with the other like one big happy family. "Ditsong, have you forgotten something?" Furrowing her brow, Bai Yen asks with an unhappy face. "Did I forget something?" This time the man was honestly confused and lost by the strange question. It's Di Xiaowan, gnashing her teeth like a lioness now. "You forgot your own sister." This guy, seriously, how can he even forget his own sister? Who knows if one day he would forget me and my son like so. Oh right, I seem to have lost her from my sight. Making a slight frown at the thought, Ditsong hurries to correct his own tone before he gets into trouble. "Wait here for me then, I will go back and call her." Return to the demon realm. 3. Okay? Bai Yen nods. "I will wait for you here with Shachen." With that promise made, Ditsong's small bit of unease has also left his heart as well. Letting the baby boy out of his arms, he made sure to rub that little head before disappearing from view. Due to his speed, only an afterimage remains. Demon Realm. While this world seems strange and eerie due to the blood moon hanging in the sky, coloring the terrain in an eternal red, the occupants of this land, on the other hand, was bustling with movement as a result of the state teacher's word. The king will soon return with the queen and crown prince. Counting down, the time is almost here. Hand against his back, the white-robed man had a surreally handsome appearance. If one had to describe him, he would be the only white lotus within a pond, independent without an ounce of tarnish. When bringing up the topic of the demon princess, the man's lip had inexplicably curled into a genuine smile over the girl's wayward appearance. "Hope she's not making too much trouble outside. Otherwise I will have to clean up her trail again like usual." But just as the state teacher was indulging himself in happy thoughts, a familiar voice suddenly cuts into his thoughts and broke that happy face. "State teacher, I heard that His Majesty is coming back?" The tone may only carry a hint of inquiry. Even so, it's enough to cause a furrow to the other side. "What are you doing here? Xiao Wan doesn't like your presence, so you shouldn't have come." The receiver was a woman wearing a white long dress that held an extremely pure and beautiful appearance. If any random stranger were to get a look, they would surely fall heads over heels for this lady. "State teacher, I only wanted to ask of King's status. There's no ulterior meaning. What's more, Her Highness is too immature. No matter what, we are still of the same kind." That's right, this lady was a fox just like Di Xiaowan. The only difference would be their birth. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Just because she got lucky and was born into the royal family doesn't mean she's better than me. I will one day climb above that wench and make her kneel before my feet. You got some nerve talking behind the princess's back. A pang of frost instantly overtakes the state teacher's iris. Also, I'm making this clear now. This time the king is coming back with the queen and crown prince, so you can lose that wish of yours. With that said, a blast of power promptly flew out of the man's sleeve and sent the foxy lady flying until she had slammed directly into the supporting pillar behind herself. "State teacher, you are misunderstanding me." Leaking a trickle of blood from the corner of her mouth, the woman persists to keep up the story. "I only wanted to care about His Majesty's well-being. I would never dare to badmouth the princess. You know your heart better than anyone. I'm giving you this final warning. If you take a single step out of line, then I will personally see to it that your entire clan pays the price." Upon those words, all forms of gentleness have left the man, thus causing the fox woman to stiffen up. If state teacher is not willing to say, then I will see to myself out. Who doesn't know the king is cruel and ruthless? Therefore, in light of many females being in love with His Majesty, none would dare show a speck of their true intent. Return to the demon realm. 4. I being no exception. But that doesn't mean I will just step aside for a woman who's likely the result of state teachers' doing. A flicker of light flashes in the woman's iris as she curled that lip into a snarl. Dealing with such a woman will be easy. There will naturally be others to take charge in my stead. Tiger Clan's residence. Inside the place, a certain young maiden wearing a yellow skirt was in such a rush that she ended up missing the person in front of herself. As a result, the girl nearly bumped head first into the other side. June Ruching, what are you doing? Squinting her eyes, she glares at the woman in front. The girl in the yellow skirt showed confusion at first, but then quickly changed it to anger. What do you mean by this? My meaning is very simple. June Ruching squints her eyes and scoffs a chuckle. Do you feel it's right for a human woman to be by His Majesty's side? I heard that female is a real slut back in the human world, constantly hooking up with different males. From what I know, she's already had 4 men until now. But because of state teacher's word, Sire is convinced the woman is the most suitable for him. So, don't you think state teacher is taking our king for a fool? June Ruching's smile now deepened until it's blinding to the eye for some reason. Humph, I will go see the woman for myself when king returns. Biting her lip, the yellow skirt girl stabs her hands against the waist. I'd like to see what sort of ability she has to be picked by His Majesty. Inside the palace, a strong ray of light explodes out of the altar set inside the center of this grand structure, shrouding the entire demon world with its brilliance. Hail to the king, queen, and crown prince. Your subjects are here to welcome the royal family's return. Those standing there all took to their knees upon seeing the man's purplish figure and his 2 accompanying family members. This one next to me is the future mistress of the demon realm, and she will be the only one. Perhaps it's due to fear of Bai Yen being intimidated by such a grand reception. But Ditsong's hand had inexplicably tightened around the females. Then again, there were no reason to because the ministers didn't object, only sharing a glance with each other like they expected as much. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases in addition. The sound of the man's overbearing voice rises again in volume. In this demon realm, the queen's word is law, followed second by my own. You must all respect her and listen to her command. If there's any violation, then no forgiveness shall be given. Bai Yan's heart trembled at that proclamation, her palm also tightening against the man's hand in return. In the past, she couldn't get a sense of security that one would hope from a lifelong partner. But now, she's feeling it, and it's not such a bad thing. King's meaning is, couldn't be, the queen's word is the rule and his own words is second fiddle? The ministers didn't expect this part from the man, so strange looks of bewilderment were being shared among each other. Sire, an old minister unsurely speaks up. If there's a conflict between your order and the queen's, who should we listen to? A chilly gaze shot over to him in that second, causing the old minister to leak out a layer of cold sweat. He knew his question was a mistake, so he didn't dare to look up anymore. Return to the demon realm. 5. It seems that my words haven't gotten through to you yet. The queen's word takes priority above all else. Even if there is a conflict, the same applies. Shooting glares that could raise any spine in the recipient. What's more, are you implying I would get into a conflict with the queen? Are you trying to frame me? The old minister almost choked at that moment and nearly got to his knees again. King, you can't do this to others. I never said anything towards that meaning. Xiao Wan. Ditsong then notices his sister, who have already strolled over to the state teacher's side. Looks like you are already losing your patience and wants to be wed? That scared the daylights out of the demon princess. Making a sorrowful face, the pampered girl looks on at his brother like he's done the most egregious thing ever. Your sister-in-law is already very tired. You should take her to rest first. I and state teacher still have things to discuss. Shooting a warning glare at his own sister then. Remember the words I said to you before coming back. That instantly causes the demon princess to light up because there's no way she would forget something so devious. Anyone who bullies sister-in-law is to be removed at once. Hee, this will be fun. You go back and wait for me. I will come back later. Pulling his wife closer, Di Tsong whispers this into that dainty ear and got a faint nod in return. All right, I'll wait. After saying this, Bai Yan then releases her hand from his and picks up her son from the man's other arm. Xiao Wan, lead the way for me. Looking at the disappearing back of his family, Di Tsong's expression promptly got cold and dark as he scanned the welcoming committee. How are the preparations going for the war? Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Smiling still, the state teacher gives a nod of reassurance. I have already tossed the candidates in there for intense training, and the other preparations are well underway and near completion as well. Just that it's not easy to break the seal around our world. Sire, you must be prepared. No matter, the celestial realm will eventually be in my hands. Whatever she wants will be hers. I will see to it. King. State teacher suddenly furrows his brow a bit. There are a lot of women in the demon realm who is in love with you. I advise you to be careful lest the queen be wronged by one of those individuals. Only murder could be heard in Di Tsong's voice. In this world, no one is allowed to harm my wife. Besides, Xiao Wan is with her. I'm very confident she will remove any who's dumb enough to trespass her way. Then, just as the state teacher wanted to say some more, the cold-sounding words had once again rung out. Later, you go to do a statistic on the number of women trying to covet after the position of queen. After the statistic, they are then forbidden to draw close to the palace. If a single one of them breaks the rule, their legs will be the price. Stunned at first, the state teacher then made a wry smile of awkwardness. I just knew His Majesty would be like this. Whether it be the past life or this one, he's still acting the same towards the queen. This will be difficult to please. Oh right, retracting his focus from the matter at hand. I believe the marriage between you and Xiao Wan should be said as well. There were neither surprise nor unhappiness in the state teacher's eyes. However, the man was showing a strange look nevertheless. After a long moment of silence, did you get Xiao Wan's agreement? She has long forgotten about me. Now, me and her, I'm only the state teacher and a friend. Actually, sire, you don't need to do this for me. I only want to watch over her. In light of his words, an obvious level of pain could be felt from that tone. If she doesn't agree, then I won't force it. She will agree. Di Tsong says it with such certainty that it's hard to resist. Report broken chapters. Return to the demon realm. 6. A look of surprised glee takes over the state teacher's face. Sire, you mean it? You mean what you say there? Di Tsong slowly nods. After I announce your engagement, the queen wishes to ask you some question as well. The state teacher was startled over that request. But that didn't last long before he returns to his old elegant self. I know what the queen wants to ask me. Sire, you can help me pass on a message to the queen and that should be enough. Some things are fated to be, so I cannot say anything for now. Otherwise, it will directly affect her mood. Fine, I will pass on this message to Yenner. Also, my wish is to not delay the attack on the celestial realm. I want to use it as her bridal gift during the wedding. That only earned the overbearing man a helpless smile from the state teacher. Just attacking the celestial realm is hard enough. Now he wants to take it and use it as the wedding gift? Oh, things never change. White Moon Palace, a place where none has ever lived since the conception of the so-called demon realm. According to rumors, this location should be the best in all of this world. Just that aside from the king himself and some maids in charge of the daily cleaning, none are permitted to trespass. But now, a new mistress has dawned on this tranquil structure. Sister-in-law, your palace here is so much better than my own. Slouching there on the comfy bed, Di Xiao Wan reveals a bright smile suitable for her own age. Can I stay here and not go back? Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Casting a look of confusion. The one to respond was none other than the little baby. Auntie, aren't you afraid of Batty Father coming to toss you out? I know he will if you try to stay. Twitching in the mouth, the demon princess immediately showed a grieving look. Sister-in-law, you would protect me, wouldn't you? Caressing her own chin over that plea, Bai Yan's iris was brewing with laughter. You can stay if you want, however, but before her agreement could be finished, the door to the room was suddenly barged open by an unknown hand. That naturally annoyed Di Xiaowan, who had her conversation cut off, thus causing the girl to have that face sink a cold one. Xiaoying, how did you get in here? What were the guards doing in allowing you into the palace? I said that I came to find you, so they just let me in. Huang Xiaoying then cocks her chin before turning to Bai Yan with puzzlement. So you are the woman His Majesty brought back from the human world. Aware now that the opposition came with ill intent, Bai Yan ignores the question at first to pour herself some tea. And what of it? Seeing that calm reaction, Huang Xiaoying initially wanted to show some attitude. Well, that was until she noticed the little white tiger in Bai Shachen's arm. Oh, what a cute male tiger. In that split second her gaze changed. Huang Xiaoying, what are you doing here? Noticing the strange look from her friend by now, Di Xiaowan hurries to block off her nephew from the intruder's view. I'm telling you now, don't think for a second that just because you are my friend that I will allow you to bully my sister-in-law and nephew. If you try, then I will beat you to death. The demon princess then pumps a fist up to show off her menacing and dangerous side. Report broken chapters. Friends, how can a bond like that compare with a sister-in-law and nephew? This friend I can lose if must. What is the name of the tiger? Huang Xiaoying fidgets her body, that face totally lacking the steaming demeanor of her initial entry. Due to how off-guard little Rice was at being called out, he immediately jerked up with his fur raised. In a desperate attempt, the little feline promptly shrank into Bai Yan's arms like it would give him a higher level of safety. Mew mew. This woman's gaze is very scary. Brother never did like the silly type in a female to begin with. If not for me being his sister, he would have hung me out to dry long ago, so let's not mention this Huang Xiaoying. The mere sight of her would be disastrous. I want to know the identity of this tiger. Huang Xiaoying shyly lowers her head that voice sounding embarrassed like a maiden in love. You wouldn't be trying to snatch little Rice, are you? Di Xiaowan immediately levels up into a heated mode. I'm telling you this now. Don't even think about it. This white tiger is my sister-in-law's contracted familiar. No one can touch him. The queen's contracted familiar? The yellow skirt girl stared wide-eyes with her big innocent face. Can I be your contracted familiar too then? That talk about leaving the demon princess in a dumbfounded state. Just now Huang Xiaoying was still stomping over in a steaming mood. Now she's asking to be Bai Yan's familiar? What the heck? I want to be your contract familiar. I want to be with. Not being able to say the last part, the maiden then shyly points her finger over to little Rice to indicate her meaning. Like thunder, it was little Rice's turn to be shocked. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases what's happening here. Isn't this woman supposed to be King's admirer? Why is this girl trying to marry me? No, I don't want a wife, especially this kind that's obviously lacking a vein in the brain. Turning to Bai Yan, little Rice looks up with pity like he's pleading her to not agree. Understanding his little friend's meaning, Bai Yan decides to get to the bottom of this first. So the purpose of your visit today is to make a contract with me? Of course not. Huang Xiaoying exclaims out of the blue. It's that fox Jun Ruqing. She told me that the woman brought back by His Majesty is a cheating swine that is unworthy of the post. The king is so wise and powerful, he deserves only the best. That's why I came over to see for myself, to see if the woman is worthy. Well? Bai Yan raises her eyebrow inquisitively, awaiting the answer. But I didn't think, the love-struck maiden begun fidgeting again with her skirt, that I would fall in love at first sight. I want to marry this white tiger. That did it. With his fur erected from discomfort, little Rice wanted to make a run for it right here and then. This woman really took a liking to me. Can you contract me as well? Huang Xiaoying looks straight into Bai Yan's eye and pleads directly. After you contract me, the whole tiger clan is yours. I will steal all of the treasures my father saved and give it to you. Oh my! This is a girl that only knows how to scam her old man. No. Firm and unyielding, Bai Yan stands her ground. Why? Because little Rice is not willing. Indeed, Bai Yan's reason for rejecting Huang Xiaoying's request was because of the baby tiger's unwillingness. There's no way she could hurt her little friend's heart for the sake of an outsider. And sure enough, this precise answer quickly calms the feline's heart. You mean, as long as he agrees, then I can become your contracted familiar? Huang Xiaoying's eyes lit up, her cheeks blushing as well now while she asked. Report broken chapters. Return to the demon realm? 8. Probably? Bai Yan gently makes a nod like she's unsure of it herself for once. I will definitely get him to agree. Though reluctant, Huang Xiaoying nevertheless removes her own gaze from the white tiger, knowing it's improper for a girl to stare so hard at her future husband. My name is Huang Xiaoying. You mustn't forget me, okay? Di Xiaowan couldn't take any more of this. Patting her own face to clear up the bafflement, she sounds a little irritated. Huang Xiaoying. What? The friend turns to face the demon princess like she did no wrong. This won't do. I must hurry and go report this to brother and have him ban this dumb friend of mine out of the palace. Mistress spoke already. I can if little rice accepts me, so your words don't count. Grinning right up to her eyes, the tiger maiden grins triumphantly. Also, it was Jun Ruqing who bewitched me to come, so it's not my fault. Jun Ruqing. Bai Yan rubs her chin meaningfully. Is it a woman who's another admirer of deed songs? The tiger girl gives a serious nod. At first I did believe her when she came to me. After all, I do adore his majesty like everyone else. Just that. Blushing at this part, she shyly shoots a quick peek at little Rice, who was still uncomfortably hiding in those arms. I now have someone better. A wife must follow their husband. From now on I won't take anyone but little Rice. Mistress. The white tiger became angry now. Jumping up from those arms, he growls viciously at the intruder. I will never marry a girl like her, so you mustn't agree to this tigress's trickery. In addition, she must be in collusion with that Jun Ruqing or whatever. Mistress, you must protect my chastity. After saying something so embarrassing, little Rice then continues on with his rant after making a helpless spin for help. Besides, my mistress isn't even like what that Jun Ruqing claims she is. That woman never even went to the human world, so how could she know anything? Thinking for a while, Huang Xiaoying furrows that brow in contemplation. Now that he mentions it, everything makes more sense this way. My brother is coming soon. Are you still not going yet? Di Xiaowan reminds her friend after a stomp. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Huang Xiaoying may have just found her soulmate, but that doesn't mean she doesn't fear that terrific existence that's known as deed song. Shivering from the pang of cold chill running down her spine. Wait for me. I will find a way to get back in later. No need. I will leave word to those below so they would not let you get close to the palace. After saying that, Di Xiaowan then hurries to block off Bai Yan from view in order to cheekily gloat before the tiger girl's cute face. Biting that lip in grievance, Huang Xiaoying eventually did step away in light of her unwillingness. Oh, she is finally left. The demon princess breathes a heavy sigh of relief. Little Rice, you don't need to be polite if she come back again. Just toss her out if you want. I don't want any more people fighting with me for sister-in-law. Even if Huang Xiaoying is my friend, it won't work. If nothing else, I can just abandon that friendship. Humph. I agree with you, princess. The white tiger hurriedly nods. I would rather never see that scary girl again. I am tired now. Ignoring the two rascals' conversation, Bai Yan gives her body a stretch and then leans against the soft, comfy couch. Xiaowan, go tell the guards that I'm resting and that none is to come bother me, including your brother. Report broken chapters. Digging his own grave. 1. The demon realm doesn't differentiate between night and day. Therefore, it's always red as a result of the blood moon hanging in the sky. Outside the White Moon Palace, 2 guards were in charge of guarding the gates when one of them noticed Deed Song's figure slowly closing in from the front. Sire? The one speaking raises a blocking hand in spite of his dreaded back being covered in cold sweat. Though the overbearing king stopped in his tracks at the sudden intervention, he nevertheless asked anyways and didn't explode. Why are you stopping me? Going black in the face over that answer. This woman. She's using my original order to deal with me? Move. A burst of power explodes out of Di Tsong's body, shrouding his entire existence in an oppressive aura. Sire. The poor guards were so scared now that their legs were shaking. Your order from before. Whatever the Queen's order must be taken precedent over your command. Those are your exact words. Please step back. We are only following your orders. Talking about fuming at this point. I will say it for the last time, move. Bump. Taking to their knees, the two poor guards were looking deathly pale by this stage and wished their life weren't so unfortunate. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Sire, we really can't move. Poor souls, they're going to lose no matter the choices today. If they do move, it's going against the original order, and if they don't move, then it's going against the current order. No matter what, it's still going to infuriate their lord and master right in front. Good, very good. Making a cracking sound with his fist now, Di Tsong was twitching in that mouth due to the extreme rage coursing through his veins. However, despite all this threat and intimidation, the overbearing man didn't act. In the next moment, that purplish figure was gone and out of sight. This is Sire, is he gone? One of the braver guards looks up, unsure what to do next because his legs were still too numb to stand. The other guard also trembling still. I think so. But I doubt His Majesty would ignore what we've done just now. He did say the Queen's word must be prioritized. But at this rate, I have a feeling things aren't going to last long if the situation continues to turn out like this. Seriously, who in the right mind would expect the future queen of this land to make such a order on the first day? On the soft couch, the occupant was currently resting comfortably on the side when a hand suddenly reached over to pull her into an embrace. Though the warmth and sensation were all too familiar, it still caused the woman to jerk open those eyes in annoyance. How did you get in? Bai Yan asked. Didn't I say that none is to bother me? Naturally, Di Tsong's face would go black again after that question. Licking his dry and hurt lip, he gently moves that finger across the silk dress like it's a fine treasure. So the right I gave you is to be used against me like this? Those eyes squinting, making his enchanting contour especially scary. Do you know I had to crawl through the dog hole in the wall in order to get inside my own home? Damn it, I'm the ruler of the demon realm and still have to crawl through a dog hole just to get inside. Isn't that too shameful? And my own palace of all places. Report broken chapters. Digging his own grave, too. What? Bai Yan leans her head against the palm of that hand, smiling all prettily and sweet. Do you have an issue with my order? Unable to resist that appearance, Di Tsong hurries to tighten his grasp. You think that's enough to stop me from coming in? In this palace, none can stop me. Since no one can stop you, then why did you have to crawl through the dog hole in the wall? While Bai Yan continues to smile all sweetly, the other side only grew darker in the complexion at being found out. Talk about sinking into the bottom of the ocean. Damn it, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't have even done such a shameful thing. How can she just turn around threatening me like that? Oh right. Tell me about that June Ruching that I've been hearing so much about. Still lazy on the couch, Bai Yan asks with sleepy eyes. June Ruching. Di Tsong tightly furrows his brow as he worked hard to remember such a person. Who is that? Now it was Bai Yan to make a stupor face for once. According to the information she got from Di Shaowan, that woman should be part of the Fox clan and lives in the palace as well. Yet Di Tsong doesn't know who the woman was? Get in here. The man suddenly snaps and shouts at the doorway. Bang! Following the crashing sound of the door slamming open, what came into view was the impacting picture of the demon princess falling face first to the floor after losing her balance. Brother, I am not eavesdropping or anything, nor did I hear anything about you crawling through a dog hole. You have to believe me. I don't know anything. Di Tsong's face sank again. Who is June Ruching? Seeing that her brother doesn't intend to pursue the matter, the troubled princess promptly issued a sigh of relief. Don't you know June Ruching? Her parents died protecting the demon realm, and as an act of pity for the girl being an orphan, First Elder brought her into the palace to live with us. Oh yes, she's also the Elder's goddaughter. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Oh, now that you've mentioned it, There is someone like that if I remember correctly. Di Tsong actually sounded a bit taken aback by the news, twitching hard in the mouth over her brother's reaction. Brother, how can you not remember her? She's been living in the palace for so long and would often appear before you when First Elder comes around. At the very least you should have an image of her face, right? Pursing that lip guiltily, Di Tsong didn't want to admit he really didn't have a single impression of whoever this Jun Ruqing was. I must have not paid attention back then. Oh yes, Yen, why did you suddenly mention her? Nothing but an insignificant woman. What need is there to remember someone like that? In actual fact, Bai Yen regretted it the first moment she asked the question because she knew this might give the other side the wrong impression that she cares. Cares about that Jun Ruqing and Di Tsong's relationship. Making an awkward laugh to hide her true thoughts. I'm only just asking, nothing special. I'm only just asking, nothing special. You can't ask about others in the future. Di Tsong reaches over again and pinches that chin. You can only ask about me from now on. Yenna rarely asks about other people unless it's related to herself. It couldn't be. She likes the female sex and not men? Thinking of this, Di Tsong's face got darker than the bottom of a burnt pot, shooting a creepy cold stare at his sister. Go pass on my order. No female bodies are allowed near the White Moon Palace, especially that Jun Ruqing. Popping that mouth in great surprise. The demon princess didn't expect such an order. Why does brother make it sound like that woman's fighting him for sister-in-law's favor? Shuddering at that creepy idea, Di Xiaowan didn't want to know the truth. I will go right away, brother. No need to give me that look, you know. Report broken chapters. Digging his own grave 3. Afraid Di Tsong would bring the topic back up again. Di Xiaowan hurries to leave, not wanting to leave it to chance, and made a cold hard dash for the outside. In a blink, that young female body was gone in a blink of an eye. Yenner, listen to me. The man's expression became flat and serious. That Jun Ruqing is not a good person. Any who tries to fight me for Yenner is not good. And you are a woman, you can only make babies with a man, you can't like a woman. Just like thunder. Bai Yen immediately widened her eyes on what her man was getting at. What does he mean by that? I can't like women? When did I say I like the same sex? But, acting as if someone just smashed his face with a black pan. Di Tsong's expression looked dire and distressed. You are lying to me, showing a dangerous light in his iris. Yenner, you must be lying to me. If you really like the same sex. Bai Yen continues her tease with a smirk. What about it? I will become a woman. No matter what, you won't be able to escape from my hands in this lifetime. After saying that, he then climbs as close as possible to the woman who was already laughing her guts off inside. I won't let you go, ever. But dump! A beat skipped inside Bai Yan's heart over that last bit. Closing her eyes, she never felt such peace in her life. Di Tsong. In a swift swing of her whole body, the leisurely woman suddenly exploded with a mesmerizing smile as she mounted the man's waist. Pressing her lips down, it was her turn to steal the peach instead of the other way around for once. How can I possibly like the same sex? This guy is such a dumb dolt. I never even felt what true love is. But now I do. After a long while, those lips eventually separated with the female on top showing the winning face. Oh beautiful. Why are you so smart at times but such a sweet dumbaklutz the next? You are even worse than that little sister of yours, you know? Di Tsong may not understand what a sweet dumbaklutz means. Then again, he doesn't need to. Anything used to describe Di Xiaowan couldn't be anything good. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. All I did was make a joke and you're being this serious? Her lips curling into a victorious grin. Now that did it. In one pull of the hand, Di Tsong promptly pushed himself back on top, allowing his mouth to draw exceptionally close to the woman's forehead. You mustn't deceive me in the future. Any words of yours, I will take them seriously, remember that. Blinking those feministic eyes of hers, Bai Yen honestly didn't think her little play would have such huge effects. I only thought your looks earlier were very cute. That's why I couldn't resist teasing you. I actually didn't think you would react so strongly, you know. But before she could finish that sentence, The man's lips have already moved downwards to smother her words with his powerful breath. Apparently it's his little form of a punishment for that small little lie. White Moon Palace. At the front gate to this forbidden palace, 2 guards were doing their best to avoid making trouble when they saw a woman dressed in white slowly walking over to their location. Miss Ruching, one of the guards hurries to block the outsider. By the queen's order, no one is to disturb her rest. The smile in the foxwoman's face froze. I only want to pay a visit after hearing the queen has returned with the crown prince. Mind passing my coming to her royal highness? Report broken chapters. June Ruching, Miss Ruching, please don't make things difficult for us. His Majesty have already said it. All demons must obey her Royal Highness's word. In the demon realm, the queen's order is law and above the king's word as well. Still wrinkling that brow, the guard refuses to budge. Also, sire came earlier as well and was rejected exactly like you right now by the queen. June Ruching literally shuddered at the news. Gently gripping those hands until it's a tight ball, the foxwoman felt like she's been riddled with holes in the heart, thus causing immense pain for the soul. Don't misunderstand me, Mr. Guards. I'm only here to seek an audience with the queen in order to pay my greetings. I have no other motive. Though she's managed to force a smile while saying this, the bitterness and sorrow inside could be read like a sheet of paper in those eyes. A minute of painful silence. I understand. However, just when the foxwoman's ready to leave after all this back and forth, that's when she noticed the domineering and arrogant figure coming out of the White Moon Palace from the corner of that eye. Sire! The 2 guards were shockingly horrified at the sight. Hurrying to step forward, they kneel in fear for what's to come. When did His Majesty go in? Why didn't we know? These were the sorts of questions running through these poor fellas' head at the moment. Giving an indifferent nod in return, Deetsong's tone sounded cool and somewhat fluttery. Continue your watch. No one is allowed inside to disturb my wife. Yes, sire. Cold sweat still poured out of the 2 guards' back. However, they are now ever so grateful to stand their ground in not letting their king inside earlier. Otherwise, who knows what sort of punishment would have befallen them. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. June Ruching, on the other hand, didn't feel so fortunate though. Almost in a daze, she just stood there and listened in on the unbelievable conversation. The one standing next to sire should have been me. If not for that prophecy from the state teacher, then maybe I would have been queen of the demon realm by now. This shouldn't belong to a mere human woman. The more she thought about this, the more painful it became for her soul. In a moment of stupid decisioning, she had the audacity to block off Deetsong's path. Greetings, Your Majesty. Making an involuntary frown, the man's voice was cruel and harsh. Scram! Though the words were in every intent unkind, June Ruching nevertheless accepted reality as so. She's not someone who didn't know the man's personality, so this came as no surprise. Sire, it was my godfather who asked me to visit the queen, but Her Royal Highness isn't allowing me to do so. I like to ask sire to give me special permission for an audience. Finally taking the foxwoman into his view, Deetsong's lips transformed into a snarling grin of mockery. Do you know how I got inside? Biting that dainty lip, the foxwoman lowers her head and speaks. I don't know. Look at the high wall surrounding the compound. I crawled through the dog hole over there. His words had absolutely left the guards gasping for air at the horrific revelation. Just now, sire crawled through the dog hole in the wall? This report broken chapters. June Ruching, too, making a creepy and scary smile. On what qualifications do you think you can go inside through the main entrance? Or do you believe your status is above my own? Towards that question, June Ruching's body was literally shaking so hard that it hurt straight into her heart. If not for the strong will, she would have reached up to clench that chest. His Majesty, the one and only ruler of our world, got rejected by a human woman, and he had to crawl through a dog hole in order to see her? Based on what can she humiliate the king like so? If you want to see my wife, then there is a way. Beaming a devious light like that of a trickster, he points to the dog hole in the wall. See over there? You can crawl through the dog hole like I did. Going ghastly white after following the indicated direction with her eyes, the fox woman ended up taking a step back from the shock of what she saw. Sire actually wants me to crawl through a dog hole? I am the daughter of the first elder of the demon realm. How can I lower myself to such extent for a mere human woman? However the dissatisfaction, there's no way Jun Ruqing would dare show her true face today. Making a respectful bow. Sire, it was I being too presumptuous. I will take my leave, so please forgive me. And sure enough, Ditsong didn't act further to punish the intruder. Next time if anyone insists on seeing my wife, then they have a choice. Leave or crawl through the dog hole. Yes, sire. Wiping some of those sweat, the guards didn't forget to shoot a warning look at the fox woman. That's right, if His Majesty have to crawl through a dog hole too, then you can forget about going through the main entrance. And as another blow, when Ditsong dropped the last sentence and walked past Jun Ruqing's shoulder, a shocking truth has dawned on the woman. This man, maybe he doesn't even know who I am. While this knowledge does cause her to fluster and panic, but it did also give her a reason to grow stronger in her conviction. In any case, she has every intent to make this man hers, regardless of the consequences. The Demon Council of Elders was one of the most mysterious organizations in the entirety of this world. The main reason being that it's said that some of these members are as old as the demon realm itself, well before it was sealed into this closed off, so old that they've lived back in the era where the demon realm didn't become sealed yet. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases at this time inside the Demon Council. The first elder was in the middle of meditating when his ears picked up the sound of footsteps from the front. Opening his eyes. Ruqing, why the sudden visit? Hanging her head, Jun Ruqing puts on a sad face. Godfather, just now, I went to see the queen. Oh, the first elder smiles gently. Then you should associate with Her Royal Highness some more. It will do you a lot of good. Biting that lip. But the queen made an order as soon as she arrived at the palace. Everyone is forbidden to enter her residence, including His Majesty. Now the only way inside is to crawl through a dog hole in the wall. Godfather, I know we should yield no matter what the queen does to us. After all, she's the prophesized individual of the state teacher. But don't you think the way she's treating His Majesty is too much? Crawling through a dog hole isn't befitting someone of his status. Little by little, the gentle smile slowly disappeared from the first elder's face. Staring at the woman, the old fella's tone got harsher. Ruqing, His Majesty's business is his own. It's not something you should try to meddle in with. Jun Ruqing 3. Shaking hard at being called out. Why is Godfather acting like this? He always worships His Majesty, so why is he allowing the king to be trampled upon like so? Godfather. Pursing that lip, Jun Ruqing continues to raise her point. I am only saying this for His Majesty's sake. The first elder didn't speak for a while, only giving his goddaughter a strange look like someone able to perceive the truth. Ruqing, do you like His Majesty? Perhaps it's due to her true intent being discovered. But that calm nature immediately showed a glimpse of fleeting panic. What are you talking about, Godfather? How can I? A broken smile now takes over Jun Ruqing's face. Godfather, some things won't stop just because I step back. And the queen, she is just a human woman. The elder's forehead starts wrinkling up. Ruqing, your parents died for the sake of the demon realm. Plus you are clever and sensible. That's why I took you in as my goddaughter. I hope you can recognize your own status and not have any thoughts beyond your stage as a small little general's daughter. There are many women out there more capable and more beautiful than you. Yet none could get into the king's eye. You should have some idea of why. I won't help you if your actions end up infuriating His Majesty. Staggering backwards, the fox woman eyes her godfather in disbelief like this was the first time they have ever met. She had thought after so many years of being together that the first elder would side with her on this matter. That's why she divulged her heart's true intent. Yet, he called her a daughter of a small little general and to not have ulterior motives for the king. Embedding those nails into the flesh of that palm, Jun Ruqing hides her pain and anger by closing those eyes. Thank you, Godfather. I understand. I'm happy that you can see things through. Now and into the future, you will still be my good and sensible goddaughter. Smiling now, the elder turns away. Go now, I need to continue my cultivation. Yes, godfather. Complying, the fox woman also turns and left the hall. Totally unaware, the first elder was eyeing the droplets of blood staining the floorboard from the corner of his eyes. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Outside the council's main hall. So the years of bond between us is only to this extent. A daughter of a small little general. June Ruching's lip curled into a snarl of bitter sadness. I've always taken myself as a member of the Fox clan, the daughter of the first elder. That's why I thought you would support me. But it was nothing but my own illusion to believe you are my family. Haha. How laughable. To think I'm not worthy while a human woman is? Fine. If you won't help me, then I will get him with my own strength. When the time comes, I will have the whole demon realm bow down at my feet. And by then, I will have you repent for today's words. June Ruching, 4. Giving own final glance back at the main hall of the Demon Council, June Ruching didn't look back this time as she walked away. In her eyes, there's only a strong chilling glint that showed off her conviction. At the same time while that occurred, the Tiger Clan's home was in a total mess. Xiaoying, don't mess around like that. Fast, put the thing in your hand down carefully, don't drop it please. Huang Che-mu nervously eyes the maiden in front of himself, ready to stop breathing with every frightening movement. Still hugging the jade cup in her hands, Huang Xiaoying vigilantly steps back to avoid her father's blockade. I don't want to. It wasn't easy to steal this from your treasury vault. I'm not putting it back. No matter what, he's still the chief of the Tiger Clan. He should be hailed and treated with respect. Yet it's always this daughter of his who comes making trouble. What's more, because this girl's his only child, he has no choice but to give in to her whims. The jade cup is useless to me, I know that, but I can give it away. All smiles in her face, the innocent maiden proudly states her reason for stealing. So, I won't return it to you. Huang Che-mu literally wanted to go crazy right now. This wasn't the first time his daughter stole from the treasury vault already. If not for wanting to catch the thief after so many issues lately, he wouldn't have even bothered to hide in the corner of the room for all these days. Even worse, the brat's actually giving them all away. Sweetie, can you tell me who you are giving all these away to? Thinking fast, the poor tiger chief intends to get it all back after finding out. Your future son-in-laws. Huang Xiaoying's mouth turns into the most innocent smile of a maiden falling in love. Mistress, visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Boom boom boom. Like thunder slapping his face left and right, Huang Che-mu popped his eyes in horror. Future son-in-law? This stinky girl actually fell in love with some wild boy, and he's been contracted? And my daughter would come and steal her old man's treasure for said stinking runt? Sweetie, you would empty my coffer just for a boy's sake? Jumping up and down, the old tiger was furious. If not for the jade cup still being the girl's hand, he would have already run up to give the ignorant lass a good beating. Father, what's wrong with giving a few things away in order to let your daughter get the man of her dreams? Puckering that lip, the tiger maiden didn't agree with her old man's disgruntled appearance. And I also promised to give her the entire Tiger Clan. Poor the father. If not for one of the guards being smart enough to come help him from behind, Huang Che-mu would have fainted to the floor right then and there. You? Eventually stabilizing his mood after much effort, he gnashes his teeth for the next part. I'm telling you this now, you are not going anywhere today. If you take a single step out of the estate, even one, I will be a dash. But before the man could finish that sentence, an old lady from the outside have already rushed inside with a crutch in hand. Who did you say you want to beat? If you dare touch my granddaughter, then I will beat you first. My good granddaughter is giving your things to her future husband. What's wrong with that? You got an opinion? Huang Mu-che was shocked by the voice and hurried to avoid the crutch that's coming down from behind. Mother, I am wrong. I know my fault. If you know you're wrong, then go bring out your treasures. My granddaughter wants to give it to her future husband, you not hear? Move it. The old lady hollers at her son without mercy. June Ruching, 5. This time Huang Che-mu really wanted to cry. It's bad enough I have this terrible brat of a daughter who only knows how to steal from his old man. Now my own mother is beating me? Do they know how hard it is to gather all these treasures? Now in only a few days I'm nearly left with nothing. Grandma, Papa, I am going to find my future hubby now. Bye-bye. Huang Xiaoying gives a happy wave at the two members of her family before running off with the jade cup still in hand. Outside the gates of the White Moon Palace, the same yellow skirt figure was once again stopped by the two guards. Miss Xiaoying, why are you coming again? The guards were having a headache at the sight of this tiger, miss. This time not only did the queen issue an order, even the king has decreed that none is to approach her royal highness, especially the female sex. During these past few days, Huang Xiaoying had repeatedly come pestering the guards, trying to get inside to no avail. The two guards exchanged a smile with each other. Her Royal Highness said not to accept your things. That? Contemplating the issue for a while, Huang Xiaoying bites her own nail and gets stubborn. Then I will put the stuff here. When she wants it, then hand it to her. I'm not going to give up. I must marry Little Rice. Perhaps it's her remembering the cute appearance of the white tiger. But the girl's face ended up blushing until it's a cherry red. He will look so handsome once he can transform into his human form. Oh, Miss Xiaoying, you being like this, you wouldn't have emptied the Tiger Clan's coffer, have you? One of the guards makes a helpless smile and jokes, not realizing he's in fact spot on there. This Huang Xiaoying really is one of a kind. I wonder what her old man is doing right now. Must be rolling over at this point from having such a daughter. Nothing, my pops have plenty of things in his coffer still. Gesturing to bid the two guards farewell, she didn't forget to leave a final message. Mr. Guards, I've been a bother to you too lately. When I become Little Rice's wife, I will definitely repay the two of you for the help. After dropping these grateful words, Huang Xiaoying was finally ready to leave for real when she bumped into another figure after turning, causing that brow to furrow and making her all the more cuter. Xiaoying. June Ruching sounded surprised. Are you also visiting the queen? Making a huffing grunt. If you have nothing to say, then move. I'm going. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. If it weren't for this abominable woman, then how could the queen have a bad impression of me? Maybe I could have been Little Rice's wife by now otherwise. What? Are you angry because you couldn't see the queen? Not getting angry, June Ruching puts on the most gracious smile she could muster. Then again, the temperament of her Royal Highness is too arrogant. I see the information I got is not wrong. She's not worthy of being Sire's partner if she continues to act like so. If it was the usual Huang Xiaoying, the tiger girl would have surely aligned with the fox lady out of adoration for Deetsong. But now she's already a taken woman. Love is blind, that's a saying which goes back to the start of time. No matter how much a maiden worship an idol, it still doesn't compare with true love. June Ruching. I still haven't come seeking you to get even, and now you're coming to flaunt in front of me? Making a grumpy face that somehow fits her perfectly, the tiger maiden then stabs her fist against the waist. With no evidence and no proof, you're trying to frame the queen? Where and when did she get into multiple relationship with other men? Tell me. If you continue to spout those lies, then watch me tell His Majesty. By then you will see what it means to talk behind the royal family. The avoided Huang Xiaoying. 1. June Ruching's expression changed slightly. I don't understand what you were talking about. Don't understand or just pretending. You know it better than anyone. The tiger maiden then cocks her chin slightly. Do not come and bother me in the future. I won't be treated as a fool. If you do, then I don't mind making a complaint to His Majesty. After leaving these words, Huang Xiaoying then bumped against June Ruching's shoulder to show off the negative opinion she has of the foe. This Huang Xiaoying has never been a smart one, only busting that big breast of hers. When did she change? Now it won't be so easy to use her. Clenching that fist tightly, the fox woman's eyes were filled with puzzlement. Fine, if I can't get inside the White Moon Palace, then I will wait for that human woman. I won't believe she won't ever leave that place in this lifetime. Mother! Running in with excitement, The boy's appearance was that of someone finding a trove of treasure. Opening those eyes, Bai Yen gently rubs her son's head. What happened? Puckering his lip, Bai Shachen looked like a bored child that's out to make trouble. Daddy father is too busy, so I and little Rice got bored. But then we found a fun place after wandering around. Can mother accompany us? All watery in those eyes. No one could possibly deny this face lest they have no heart. Okay. As reluctant as she was to stop her cultivation, Bai Yen nevertheless yields to the request. I like mother the best. Bursting into a great big smile. The boy looks absolutely adorable. Smooch. And as a final display of his glee, Bai Shachen didn't forget to send a lovely kiss to his mother. Where are we going? I will take you there now. Climbing off of the bed, Bai Yen pinches the little steambun's nose and softly asks, visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. I don't know either. Me and little Rice only saw a mountain in the back of the palace. The aura surrounding the place seems to be very abundant, so I thought there might be some kind of treasure inside. Mother, let's go and see. Pursing his lip, Bai Shachen acts like a typical child for once. Daddy father clearly promised me he would help me get stronger once we arrive at the demon realm. But the liar rarely showed himself since we came. If not busy with state affairs, then it's busy bothering mother. Also, in the few times I caught him inside mother's room, he would always toss me out. Humph! I won't help him next time. The more he thought about, the more the little steambun was steaming. You lead the way. We will go have a look. Yes, mother. All bright in the eyes, Bai Shachen hurries to pull Bai Yen along by the hand like a kid going off to the parade. Mother is the best. My favorite person in the world. At this time, June Ruching was anxiously pacing back and forth when she noticed the woman in the red dress slowly walking out of the estate. Due to the exceptional face and figure, even this fox woman had forgotten to breath for a second there. The avoided Huang Xiaoying too. No wonder this woman could ensnare His Majesty's attention, to think she would be born with such a peerless face. If not for that face, I bet sire wouldn't even look at her. It was then June Ruching's line of sight caught wind of the little steambun holding the woman's hand. Cute and cuddly, the little fella was a shining joy of a star to everyone who lays eye on him. Then there's the baby white tiger in the boy's arm. Perhaps out of boredom, the feline was lying there asleep without batting an eyelash. If I had a child with sire, then the baby would certainly be as cute as this one. Just knowing the fact that the man of her dream has had a boy with another woman was enough to make her heart burn. But this was not the time to confront the enemy. This fox woman knew that. Therefore, once she realized she could no longer hide, she then hurried to grab the broom nearby and pretended to be a palace maid cleaning the ground. Suddenly, Bai Yen stops in front of the stranger for a second, her brow slightly wrinkling at the fox woman. Mother, what's wrong? The baby boy bats his eyelash, curious as to why her mother would stop. Shaking her head. It's nothing, probably my illusion. Let's keep going. Okay. Making a brilliant smile, Bai Shachen didn't want to dwell on this and hurried his mother to walk faster instead. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Left alone again after the family left, June Ruching finally raised her head and ditched the broom. This time around, though, her eyes were burning with hatred instead of just jealousy. It seems that the Queen's vigilance is stronger than I thought. It looks like I need to be more careful in the future. As the blood-colored crescent moon hangs in the sky, a certain mountain was abnormally out of place in how it was giving off a white glow. Son, is this the place you were talking about? Rubbing her chin, Bai Yen couldn't shirk off the unusual vibe this place was giving off. It's strange how there's only the sound of insects buzzing inside the grasses. Giving a serious nod with his little head. That's right, mother. This is the place we discovered to have the dense aura. Can we go in and look? All right. Nodding slightly, this woman would never refuse her son's request. Not in the past, and most importantly not in the future. Mistress, this place is weird. It's giving me a weird vibe. By now little Rice have also woken up from his nap, his eyes sharp as he scanned the mountain that's glistening with the white glow. Weird. Yes, it's weird. I keep getting the feeling that I've been here before. But that's not possible because I've always been with Mistress since my birth. There's no way I could have come to the demon realm and be here of all places. Bai Yan turns silent for a while like she's thinking something important. No matter what, we will go ahead and have a look first. Besides, Ditsong never mentioned anything about an area that I can't go, so there shouldn't be anything here threatening to our safety. That said, she then began stepping into the sacred mountain, oblivious to the shadow slowly coming out of a boulder from their rear. The avoided Huang Xiaoying 3. Perhaps it's out of excessive excitement. The shadowing figure ended up shaking profusely. Queen, I haven't tried to harm you yet, and you're doing it perfectly well on your own. Smirking hard, Jun Ruqing wanted to jump with joy at this moment. No, this won't do. I must tell Godfather about her entry into the Demon Mountain. Having her end like this is too easy. She must bear the bad name of the world before she dies. Giving one final look at the direction in which Bai Yan went, this vicious fox woman immediately turned away from where she came. In the Elder Council's residence, the members of this ancient order were in the middle of meditation when the door to their home was pushed open, followed swiftly by a panicking voice. Godfather, not good at all. I just saw a person enter the Demon Mountain. What? The first elder promptly jerked up, his breathing fierce and rough. You said someone went to the Demon Mountain? Who is so bold? The one in the Demon Mountain is not to be trifled with, and she will only listen to the king. Even on many occasions she would ignore the princess, let alone everyone else. I don't know. Biting that lip, the fox woman then allows her body to shake like that of someone in fear. I don't know that woman, but I advised her. She said, what did she say? The first elder openly frowns. A woman that Jun Ruqing doesn't know? Who could it be? She said, the purpose of her sneaking into the demon realm is to get some kind of treasure from the Demon Mountain. I have already told her the danger of that place, but she insisted on entering. Godfather, what should we do? Letting a layer of water to fill those eyes. I don't want unnecessary sacrifice, even if she did come with ulterior motives. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. It's rumored that the one occupying the Demon Mountain for all these eons was to protect a certain treasure. Therefore, Jun Ruqing had a certain level of confidence to her excuse. Are you sure you don't know who the woman is that went into the Demon Mountain? The elders present were all making a sinking expression by this point. Godfather, I really don't know. I have never seen her. Tears of grievance quickly fell out of Jun Ruqing's eye. If we go save her now, maybe, just maybe she can still survive. The first elder's gaze sank even further until it's as dark as night. Go inform the rest of the elders, we're going to the Demon Mountain this instant. Yes, Godfather. Hanging her head with that shaking body, her appearance was that of someone feeling guilt and sadness for the victim. However, if one had taken a closer look, they would notice that sly grin of an evil villain underneath. So what if you are the queen? The crime of stealing the treasures of the demon realm is so grave that even His Majesty won't be able to protect you because none of the elders would let this slide. Moreover, those who trespass into the Demon Mountain will always anger that person whom resides there. Whether you can live to come back out is not even a certainty at this point. Within the Demon Mountain, Bai Yan was currently feeling absolutely refreshed under the glowing white light given off by the terrain. It's something she never experienced before. Mother, this place is not only rich in spiritual energy, even the spring water is extraordinarily sweet. All sweet and happy, Bai Xiachen raises a smile as he tells his opinion. I like this mountain. Bai Yan did answer back, only keeping her eyes always on a vigilant stance as she looked around. How can this place be only rich in spiritual energy? Just by walking around, there's already several scarce medicine herbs littered around the ground. The avoided Huang Xiaoying 4. As a result of all these anomalies, Bai Yan's perspective of this mountain only grew stranger by the minute. But then just as her eyes were wander around for clues as to why, a sudden sharp call of a bird from the air had knocked her back from her senses. It was far away still in the sky, however. It's more than enough to send her alarms into high alert. Little Rice, come back. Stunned by the loud order, Little Rice didn't know how to react and only peered upwards at the strange noise. Who is this? Who dares to trespass on the forbidden grounds of the Demon Mountain? Though it's a beautiful female who spoke based on the sound signature they are hearing, the voice was nevertheless painful in how it's seemingly able to penetrate one's soul. And as if on cue, the owner of that voice gradually materializes from the void and into reality. Long red hair that flutters with the wind. This was a glamorous female that looks to be in the middle-age group gap. However, that red dot on that forehead seems to be able to rewind that appearance by over a decade, making her with the looks of a young maiden while keeping the mature air of a woman that could only be gained with age and experience. Hurrying to pull her son behind her back and picking up the baby tiger. I'm sorry for trespassing on this forbidden ground. We didn't mean to disturb your rest. We will leave now. There's good reason for Bai Yen to be so alarmed and defensive before this glamorous woman of flaming red. She's strong, second only to Deetsong based on her judgment. Hold on. Seeing that Bai Yen was about to turn away, the glamorous woman hurried to break free from the last bit of the void, her eyes showing urgency. You can't go. Startled by the outcry from the back, she turns back and asked, Is there something else? Biting that rosy lip, the glamorous woman had on a look of strong expectations. I am Suzaku, Vermilion Bird. Suzaku? Bai Yan's hand actually trembled at the name. You are Suzaku? Yes, I am Suzaku. That glimmer of hope now burns like a sparkling flame. Do you remember me? Calmly shaking her head, Bai Yan answers truthfully and denies it. I heard Xiao Wan, princess, mentioning you before, and then I had that dream of a white tiger. I'm just wondering, do you know or have anything to do with the white tiger? When she said this, her eyes were also sneaking a peek at the dumb-looking little Rice in her arms. When the baby white tiger claimed that the Demon Mountain seemed oddly familiar before, Bai Yan's instinct already knew it couldn't be a coincidence. It must be related to the 4 sacred beasts. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. That answer definitely caused a pang of disappointment in Suzaku's face. First giving a look at Bai Yan, then back at little Rice, she sighed helplessly. State teacher didn't lie. You and the king have forgotten everything. She forgot me. Forgot the me who waited 1,000 years here for her. Bai Yan didn't know the pain that's currently coursing through this Vermilion Bird's heart, but she did have a lot of questions to ask now that she's found a lead. Taking 2 steps forward, do you know about the dream I had? And did me and Deetsong have a past before? The state teacher said I shouldn't tell you, so I can't say anything more. Pursing that lip, Suzaku makes a bittersweet smile. Can you stay here? Can you stay in the Demon Mountain? Lowering that gaze like she's contemplating something. If you answer my question, then I will stay. However, by the time Bai Yan looked up again, what she saw had completely taken her aback. The glamorous woman was tearing up with total disregard for her own appearance, like someone being ripped away from their closest kin. The avoided Huang Xiaoying. 5. Why are you crying? Bai Yan hated it when others cry in front of herself, for she couldn't bear those tears. Otherwise, why else would she yield to her son so easily? It's all because of those tears that's common in a baby. Hoo! Suzaku wipes some of those tears and composes her voice to an audible level. If you stay, then I won't cry. Can you not leave? I won't ask for much, only half a month. Is that okay? That voice was now pleading, giving away the intense fear of being rejected over this unreasonable demand. Couldn't be helped. She has already waited for a millennium, and of the 4 sacred beasts that once roamed this world, only she remains. Half a month. Only half a month. I'm not asking for much. Bai Yan continues to stare at the tears trickling down Suzaku's cheek, causing her heart to twist and churn immeasurably. In the end, the only reaction she made was a frown. For the Vermilion Bird, she would of course not miss that. Borderline panicking now over the negative appearance, the glamorous woman hurried to raise 2 fingers to draw the number 10 in the air. Note: the number 10 in Chinese is written like the church's cross, in case you guys didn't get it. 10 days. If you can't, 9 days will do too. When she reached the last bit of her plea, The grievance has grown so strong that Suzaku was now openly weeping. Don't cry. Moving forward, she helps wipe some of those tears from the woman. I will stay with you, or you can follow me down the demon mountain instead. Probably the promise helped because Suzaku had stopped the weeping to a certain extent. Really? It is great that you can stay with me. I can't leave this place. Why? I need to keep watch over something hidden inside the demon mountain. When you locate Azure Dragon and Black Turtle as well, then you can come take it away. The gorgeous woman now fully reverts back to her glamorous self. Even if it's just half a month, it's enough. But instead of showing happiness like the other side, Bai Yan only showed a look of perplexity over that last remark. Turning her head downward at the dumb-looking tiger, she lifts him up to properly display the little fella. I remember that when I had the dream of the white tiger is when I contracted with Little Rice. Does that mean he's white tiger? Yes and no. Suzaku gives a lamenting sigh at Little Rice before shaking her head. There is white tiger's blood in his body, just that he's not the real white tiger yet. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. The real white tiger is a young general who is capable of turning the tide in any major battle. One stomp to shake the world. One clap to destroy thousands. But this Little Rice is too weak. I can easily flick him away with a single finger. When he awakens, that's when the real white tiger will return. Of course, this will require your help. Giving a dazzling smile now that her moods lightened up, Suzaku suddenly makes a stomp of her feet like she's just remembered something. Queen, you don't know how abominable those female demonesses are in the demon realm. Whenever they see Sire, they would all ogle at him until they're drooling. If it wasn't because I couldn't leave the demon mountain, I would have already killed those people. At the thought of this, Suzaku would immediately show off a grumpy appearance like she's ready to give a good beating. To root for this idea, Bai Xiachen also nods his little head in order. That's right, those bad women are too evil. In order to go against my mother, they would kidnap me and my friends in order to make her submit. That snake woman even tried to force me to take a poison. What? A flash of viciousness flickered in the glamorous woman's eye. The snakes are nothing more than one of the most inferior existence in the demon realm. How dare they try to covet after the position of queen? They deserve death for the sins they committed. I did not expect that after thousands of years the snake demons would have such audacity now. I must inform His Majesty afterwards. Sister Suzaku, you see my mother is always being bullied by bad people. In order to avoid something like that again, do you have any treasure for her? All bright and innocent, Bai Xiachen asks with hopeful eyes that could melt one's heart. The avoided Huang Xiaoying 6. Bai Yan's face was black as she's ever had it. My son. Can you not take it for granted when asking for a gift from someone else? That's not a good habit to have. Let me think about it. Suzaku rubs her chin like she's thinking. Suddenly, her eyes sparkled with delight. I remember now. About 100 years ago, there was a bastard who dared to trespass into the demon mountain in order to steal. I caught him and beat him good, and I nabbed his storage bag as punishment. But Sister Suzaku, who is so bold that they would come steal from the demon mountain? Looking up in curiosity, Bai Xiachen really wanted to know. Giving pause, the glamorous woman instead gazed down at the baby tiger. I think it was a member of the tiger clan, whatever Huang Chemu. If not for him being related to White Tiger, I wouldn't have let him go. Huang Chemu, Tiger Clan? Talk about being the apple not falling far from the tree. I bet the girl's habit of stealing is also inherited from her old man. He seems to have a daughter named Huang Xiaoying too. When I caught him, he kneeled and begged for mercy, claiming there's a little tiger cub waiting for him back at home and needs to be fed. It was during that moment where he told me the girl's name. Out of pity, I let him go. That's right. Huang Chemu was the only one who ever trespassed into the demon mountain and managed to return alive in all these centuries. Therefore, after his clan became aware of this fact, he was then immediately taken as the chief and the rest was history. That means Huang Xiaoying is already over a century old? All stiff in his demeanor, Little Rice had all his fur raised like a ball. If it is based on the age of human beings, this Huang Xiaoying is already an old lady, and I'm only a baby tiger of 5. Mistra. In his panic, the little fella promptly jumped into Bai Yan's embrace, making a pitiful face. You mustn't contract that Huang Xiaoying, otherwise I will commit suicide in front of you. Who? Being the understanding and considerate adult that she was, Bai Yan didn't have the heart to point out demons are different in terms of counting one's age. Turning back to Suzaku, where are you keeping your stashes? Can I see? The treasures that's collected by Suzaku cannot be anything ordinary. Okay. Suzaku's smile has reached up to her eyes at this point. Those things were originally for you anyways. Now that you are here, just take what belongs to you. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Why? Because, stumping on that for a bit, her smile grew even deeper till it's all that she could express. I'm yours anyway, so naturally my possessions are yours as well. Bai Yan definitely shuddered over that answer. That's right. She's shuddering at the thought of being the love target of another female. She's just not into that sort of relationship, so she couldn't help but give the weird eye at the glamorous woman. Oh, Queen, don't misunderstand me. Suzaku then got all shy and fiddly with her fingers. What I meant is, when you return with Azure Dragon and Black Turtle, you can then contract with me. It will greatly benefit you. In truth, if it wasn't for the fact that she still couldn't leave this demon mountain, this vermilion bird would have jumped at making the contract already. With the misconception out of the way, it was time they went to the secret stash in question. Suzaku didn't hide it far, only a short walk away, which gave Bai Yan ample time to sweep across the entire treasure trove. As an alchemist, the medicine ingredients were the first to go naturally. However, there were many useful treasures as well that was outside of her field of expertise. This soul bracelet can trap a being's soul into its confines. When done, even if they are your mortal enemy, they will still have to submit to your will. Suzaku explains, proud of the fact that she's got something that could please. Putting the bracelet away after getting the details. Not bad. I will go collect a powerful soul later and gift it to my grandfather from the lawn house. The avoided Huang Xiaoying 7. The first thing she thought of was the lawn house. After all, it was this family who stood by her side during times of distress. That kind of bond and kindness could never be forgotten. The tea from this teapot can help increase one's spiritual energy. This is useful for Grandpa back at the medicine sect. And this one, because of Suzaku's words earlier, Bai Yan ended up not holding back at all and grabbed the best things there were, thus filling her storage sack to the brim of exploding. Suzaku, I saw a lot of precious herbs growing around the mountain when I was coming up. I intend to take them as well. Is that fine with you? Okay, here. Take little rice. I'm sure the two of you have a lot of things to catch up upon. Readily throwing the baby tiger into the other side's arm, Bai Yan then took her son's hand. Son, let's go. We're going on a harvesting trip. Okay, mother. I will listen to you. All smiles, the boy starts getting all excited for the trip. Let us go then. Hand in hand, the mother and son pair then left the cave, leaving behind one tiger and one bird in the background who kept eyeing each other awkwardly. How did you become so weak now? After a few minutes, it was Suzaku who broke the silence with her helpless sigh. Little Rice, on the other hand, only blinked innocently like he didn't understand. I don't know what you were talking about. I don't know you. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. You are too weak now. Suzaku continues her one-sided conversation with a shake of that head. The enemy that the queen will face in the future is very strong. You can't protect her like that. Your priority now is to increase your strength. You can't. But just as Suzaku was planning to lecture the baby tiger further, Little Rice did something unbelievable by bringing out a pig trotter from out of some secret hiding spot and took a huge bite out of it. Little Master is finally gone. I don't need to hide it anymore. It's all because of him that I had to hide my snack for so long. If I let Little Master see this trotter, then he will definitely take it away from me. Suzaku's face was abysmally dark right now. She wanted to lash out by tossing this blasted cat away, but endured only thanks to her years of experience in self-restraint. When did you become so gluttonous? Where did the one who only knows how to cultivate and train go? Are you going to only come to your senses once your soul awakens? Despite all that talk, little Rice didn't care and continued to munch on his trotter. To this baby cub, food stands above all, including past companions. Forget it. Suzaku couldn't take it anymore and just tossed this big glutton away. Eat and eat until you explode then. Humph, even his character has completely changed now that he's reborn. I hope Azure Dragon and Black Turtle won't disappoint me as much as he is. Otherwise, I might just strangle the three of them so they get reincarnated again. Demon Mountain. Under the coverage of the white glowing light in this terrain, Bai Yen was fully enjoying herself as she harvested all the herbs she deemed suitable. Son, we've picked all the things we can take without harming the ecosystem. Let's go now. Then, just as the pair was about to return back up the slope, that's when they heard the series of footsteps from behind, thus causing her to wrinkle up that brow. Godfather, that's her. She's the one who refused to listen to my persuasion and forcibly entered the Demon Mountain. The voice was crisp and clear, almost charming even if not for the content in that sentence. Fortunately, she got lucky. Lady Suzaku is currently in dormancy, so she's able to avoid hard times. Otherwise, she might already be dead by now. Having said that, Jun Ruching's eyes were obviously showing disappointment. Why did Lady Suzaku not kill this woman who encroached onto her territory? Guest of the Demon Mountain, 1. Is there something? Her tone may be indifferent, but that gaze carried the arrogance of overlooking all the beings of this world like they are beneath herself. Jun Ruching, on the other hand, didn't care for the attitude. Her attention solely focused on the herbs in Bai Yan's hand only. She was gleeful inside but made sure to hide it like she's regretting the fact. Miss, the medicinal materials of this Demon Mountain belongs to Lady Suzaku. If you take these herbs away, you will inevitably anger her. I merely don't want you to throw away your own life. Hence the reason why I brought the elders to advise you. This is set in stone. Evidence and witnesses are all here. She can't escape now. This absolutely delighted Jun Ruching after hearing that response. Unable to resist, a faint smile ended up seeping through to only be retracted in the next second when she turned back to the elders. Godfather, I have already tried to persuade her. She's not listening and insists on angering Lady Suzaku. I'm out of ideas. The first elder didn't speak though, despite being the target of that pretentious speech. Instead, his eyes were fully locked onto Bai Yen like he's contemplating something in his mind. After a long while, he asks with a doubtful voice, Queen, on the day where Ditsong and Bai Yen entered the demon realm, only the state teacher, a select group of the ministers, were permitted to be present out of fear of scaring the queen with their vast numbers. Therefore, none of the elders present knew who Bai Yen was, and thus the uncertainty. Stopping over that word, Bai Yen meets the excited look of the elder. You got something else to say? Forgive me, Queen. I didn't know the one who came to the Demon Mountain is you. If I had known, I wouldn't have caused such a scene. Making a meepish smile, the first elder then shoots a warning look at his goddaughter. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. This girl did not tell me the person who came to the Demon Mountain is the queen. What's more, the entire territory in the demon realm is the queen's. Why should she get consent from others? Ruching, don't you think you should give me an explanation on what's going on here? The fox woman trembled hard at the demand, her face blue and white from shock. The way her godfather was acting went beyond her expectations and more. For one, it stands to reason that everyone should be enraged that a human woman was trying to occupy this demon mountain and take its treasure, so why? Why would the queen be exempt? Godfather, these days Her Highness refused to meet anyone. That's why I didn't know her identity. What's more, halting for a second, she bites her lip like she's the one facing grievance. The Demon Mountain is so dangerous. I'm just doing this out of concern for her safety. Not to mention Lady Suzaku's temper is not good to begin with. If she learns of an intruder coming into her home, I can't even fathom what she would do to everyone. The reason why the Demon Mountain was called the Forbidden Grounds was all because of the vermilion bird living here. Aside from Ditsong and Di Xiaowan, who would occasionally barge her way into this place, none were allowed lest they want to be burned to death by the bird's flame. That's why it's without surprise that many of the elders would start worrying in their hearts. They know how troublesome it would become if Jun Ruqing's words were to come to fruition. Guest of the Demon Mountain, 2. Ruqing, the first elder sighs and makes a frustrated face. I have told you before that you don't have to worry about the businesses related to the king. If Her Highness trespasses into the Demon Mountain, then there will be His Majesty coming to save her. There's no need for you to interfere. Not to mention, the relationship between the queen and the one residing here is not ordinary to begin with. Seemingly decided now in her mind after being reprehended. Godfather, it's precisely because she's our queen that it's more dangerous. I heard Lady Suzaku has an extraordinary relationship with Sire, and in the past, she has already burned one of His Majesty's admirers after the woman trespassed into her domain. If it becomes known that the queen is here, what do you all think would happen? And sure enough, Bai Yan's attention has been caught, just that it's only the look of someone confused by what they were hearing. Moreover, who doesn't know the one here in the Demon Mountain is very special. In fact, if there were no queen, then maybe the position of queen would have been hers instead. I'm only doing this out of concern for Her Royal Highness's safety. Pa! In a fit of rage, the first elder directly sends a slap across Jun Ruqing's face over that outrageous statement. Now on her snowy white skin was the print of 5 fingers due to the impact. Ruqing, you disappoint me. The elder sighs, exhausted by everything that's transpiring. He honestly thought his goddaughter could control her feeling for Ditsong, but his expectations were wrong, very wrong. Can love really make a person lose their senses so easily? First elder, quell your anger first. I'm sure Ruqing didn't mean to do what she did. The rest of the elders quickly steps in to help soothe the situation. They are aware of how sensible the foxwoman could be at these times, yet this occasion went against all that they know of her. What's more, she has the audacity to frame Ditsong. If word reaches the man's ear, a storm would ensue without a doubt. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. That's right. Ruqing made a mistake. That's her fault, no doubt. However, her intents were good in the end. If we must find some sort of fault here, though, it would be her misconception of the queen being a palace maid. Otherwise, why would she come running to us for help? When Bai Yan heard the elder's persuasions, she actually gawked her mouth in surprise. Facing the ghastly white foxwoman, Miss, have we met before? The elders are likewise startled by the question then. What does she mean by this? Didn't Ruqing say she had tried to persuade Her Highness in not stepping into the Demon Mountain? What's this stuff about have we met? Son, have you seen her before? Bai Yan pulls her son in front of herself and made a deep smile. As the most adorable and lovable son of his mother, Bai Shachen would of course not miss the meaning behind those words, making the most devious and sly grin. Mother, isn't she the lady in charge of sweeping the floor? I remember she was constantly squatting outside our place. To think she was the first elder's goddaughter. Turning to said elder, the baby boy then puts on the most dissatisfied face he could make. Grandpa elder, does my batty father know about this? Pushing your own goddaughter into being the cleaning lady is not right, you know. Guest of the Demon Mountain 3. The boy's words may appear nominally on Jun Ruqing's side, but in fact it's to tell the elders one thing. During this period, the woman has been stalking the White Moon Palace acting as a cleaning lady. Therefore, the lie of not knowing who the queen was becomes false. You're spouting lies. The fox woman cries out in desperation, falling into panic as she does so. I have never disguised myself as a palace maid. You are framing me. Instead of being angered at being called a little liar, Bai Shachen only popped his mouth into a oh shape like he's surprised as well. So it's not Grandpa Elder who sent you to clean my home? It's you doing it on your own? I'm sorry, Grandpa Elder. It's my fault for wronging you. That said, the boy then sincerely bows his head like a good little kid. I was too quick to judge earlier. My apologies for the mistake. Her outfit is simply too similar to the other palace maids. That's why I thought she was a cleaning lady when she was sweeping the floor with the broom. Highness, you don't need to be so polite with us. After all, you didn't mean it. The first elder then shifted his attention back over to his goddaughter, who clearly lost control of the situation. Ruching, explain yourself this instant. She is June Ruching? Bai Xiachen abruptly exclaims, showing a look of horror for some reason. Originally, the fox woman was already trembling from her godfather's interrogation, but the boy's loud voice only made it worse. In that moment, she actually went numb and went to the knees. Highness, do you know this goddaughter of mine? Shifting to the little prince, the first elder asks. Making a tied look for the longest time, Bai Xiachen eventually speaks. A few days ago, Huang Xiaoying came to find mother in order to make trouble. Fortunately, Auntie was there also and stopped it before it could happen. Then after a confession due to duress, Huang Xiaoying came clean and revealed it was this woman who led her along, claiming mother had multiple affairs with other men before coming. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases for the sake of his own tiger friend. Bai Xiachen could only keep the fact that Huang Xiaoying divulged everything for the sake of little rice. After all, it's not good for one's reputation to have a century-old lioness going after a baby cub. Thus the blame could only fall on Di Xiaowan. June Ruching, the first elder roars. You got some nerve there, framing the queen behind her back? Do you think Sire's sight is blind or something? You think he wouldn't know the queen's character well? Getting more and more flustered now. Godfather, that Huang Xiaoying is framing me. I have done no such thing. Ho-ho, are you taking me for a fool or thinking I have a twisted mindset? A brainless girl like that Huang Xiaoying could never hatch a plan of this scale or intricacy. The first elder has lost all the warmth from his voice, turning stern and serious like a figure of authority that he was. Meanwhile, in the background, Bai Xiachen only watched in silence while holding Bai Yan's hand. Why do I keep getting the feeling that Huang Xiaoying would be very sad if she learns of the elder's opinion? Godfather, I am wrong. I know I am wrong. I beg you not to tell His Majesty about this. In a desperate plea, June Ruching pulls against her godfather's sleeve, tears falling like a waterfall. If was in the past, the other elders present would have already stepped in to help out. However, the matter involves the royal family and the fault definitely lies with her. How could a girl who was so clever in the past become so vicious? Second elder, third elder. Finding no hope from this angle, June Ruching hurries to look elsewhere. You too must help. If things reach the king's ear, it will be the end of me. Guest of the Demon Mountain 4. Thinking of the consequences, June Ruching's face now grew extremely pale and could literally be described as a ghost. But regardless of her begging and head banging from the kowtowing, none of the elders would move. They only had disappointment left for the girl. Queen, the first elder sighs and cups his hand at Bai Yan. This is my fault for not disciplining her well, leading her to have such a distorted heart. I will personally report this to His Majesty. Is that fine? Bai Yan didn't speak, only giving a silent nod before turning away with her son in tow. However, there are simply those who don't learn or understand their own mistakes. From out of nowhere in the back. Queen, I indeed made a mistake out of jealousy, but if I were you I wouldn't continue. I can't bear to watch you die. Covering that blazing hatred in her eyes now, the fox woman wants to make one final attempt at ruining Bai Yan's relationship. There are no lies about Sire's relationship with Lady Suzaku. If you insist on going up the Demon Mountain, you will surely die. That instantly causes June Ruching to stiffen over as she looked up to see that indifferent gaze shooting her way. I've already said it to this extent. How can she be so unfazed by this? It can't be. Does she really not care about His Majesty being with other females? Impossible. There's no woman in this world who would willingly allow their man to cheat on them, nor would they accept multiple wives to share their husband. Queen, you may not care about Sire having concubines in his harem, but Lady Suzaku will definitely care about your existence. Going all in now, June Ruching gnashes her teeth and didn't care anymore. After all, they've known each for so long already. You are merely a latecomer. The implication her words were that Suzaku should be the main wife while she's nothing but a third party who came in later to steal another woman's man. June Ruching, you are looking for death. The first elder has completely exploded with rage now. In his fit, The man actually sent a punch directly onto his goddaughter's chest and sent the fox woman flying across the grasses. Despite the trickling of blood coming out of her mouth, the jealous one had on a rather happy smirk in light of her dire situation. I won't let you have a good time either, even if it means my death. Lady Suzaku will definitely kill you. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Queen. Don't listen to her nonsense. The first elder anxiously turns to Bai Yen, his voice urgent and afraid. Lady Suzaku can't be in a relationship with His Majesty. It's impossible. The possessive desire of a woman mustn't be underestimated. It's a terrible thing to meddle with. That much the first elder knew. However, the old man obviously thought too much of it this time. Is that it? The reason you cried out for me? Unfazed and without an ounce of care, Bai Yen mildly asks the defeated woman. Isn't that news big enough? Jun Ruqing pops her eyes in disbelief. If there is nothing of importance, then don't call out to me again. As for you elders here, I'm sure I will get a proper answer for today's incident. Am I right? Squinting her eyes to scan the group of old farts who came today, Bai Yan's warning tone takes them hostage like a knife. Subconsciously rubbing that neck like his head's about to roll, the first elder hurries to answer. Of course, Your Highness, Sire really loves you. The whole reason the palace harem remains empty to this date is all for your sake. Ho! Jun Ruqing snorts then, not believing the statement from her godfather at all. How stupid can godfather be? There's no way this woman would believe such an obvious lie. After all, how can anyone foresee the future centuries away when the human woman hasn't even been born yet? Guest of the Demon Mountain, 5. Oh, I know. As a result of that mild and indifferent way of answering from Bai Yen, Jun Ruqing's last tinge of contempt was lost. Right now, there's only incredulous and disbelief in that face. Is the queen that stupid? Godfather's words are obviously there to deceive her. Why would she believe that nonsense? The other elders also exchanged looks of oddity, for they didn't expect such shameless words either from their leader. Furthermore, they never thought the queen to believe it too. This point immediately sent the fox woman into a terrible shake. Indeed, the matter of her identity was a big sore spot in her mind. Take Huang Xiaoying, for example. There's been multiple occasions where she would have liked to be in the same situation. Make plenty of trouble and still have her old man clean up the mess. But she couldn't. She's only a daughter of a small little general that perished. By coincidence and by fate, she was then accepted as the goddaughter of the first elder due to her cleverness and ability to please. Ha! Out of the blue, Jun Ruqing just laughed and made the most painful face anyone has ever seen her made. If my identity is not worthy, then what about hers? Pointing straight to Bai Yen with that accusing finger, her actions were damning and caused her godfather to turn green. You? But before the old man could explode again, the moment was cut short by a female call of a bird from within the mountain valley. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. This absolutely delighted the foxwoman till she's openly laughing in a maniacal manner. Do you all hear that? That's Lady Suzaku's bird call. This woman is doomed for stealing from the Demon Mountain. There's no way she would let this person leave even if she is the queen. Suzaku has killed every female who tried to seduce the king that came here. There's no way this would be any different. From within the void, an enraged and rumbling voice quickly drifted over, causing everyone's heart to go numb from fright. Who is coming to my Demon Mountain to make trouble? They are asking for death. It was so hard to be reunited with the queen. How dare they come and interrupt our great reunion? It's just that. When Suzaku swept her sharp gaze across the field in this valley, her face quickly caught sight of the target of her fealty, which also causes her to become doubtful and confused. Does this group know the queen? If so, touching them won't be so good then. Lady Suzaku! Jun Ruqing cries out, her eyes showing joy after seeing the elder's ghastly expression. You are finally here. This woman not only came to steal from the Demon Mountain, she is also delusional enough to want to become the queen of the demon realm. Please punish her. The vermilion bird just gawked like her brain just went poof. What? Queen have always been the mistress of this realm. What delusion and want. Clearly 1,000 years of experience hasn't prepared Suzaku for this level of stupidity. Ruching, if you be good and walk away with me now, I can still save you out of consideration for our bond through the years. But if you continue to tarnish the Queen's name, then don't blame me for being cold and not helping you. Whatever comes next is your own doing. No matter how disappointed he was of this fox woman, the first elder still wanted to give her a final chance to save herself from utter destruction. Godfather, I don't know what you are talking about. Flickering a vicious light in her eyes, June Ruching didn't give a hoot and presses on with her nonsense. Everyone knows Lady Suzaku is in love with His Majesty. Now that someone is trying to steal the Queen's throne, it's only to be expected that her ladyship would be enraged. Guest of the Demon Mountain 6. Even if I can't escape my imminent death, I still won't let her do any better. Thinking of this, June Ruching's eyes are now openly hostile. As for Suzaku the Vermilion Bird, she was even more confused and lost. The only thing running through this glamorous woman's head now was that last comment and the fear of what it entailed. Stinking bitch, what are you talking about? In her urgent rage, she quickly steps out from the void and lashes out in defense of herself. When did I like the king? Why did I never know I liked the king? Making a dismissive smile, the fox woman only took this as the other side being shy and didn't want to let everyone know. But it doesn't matter. Her goal has been achieved, for the impression's been made regarding Bai Yen as the third-party thief. Yet, the next action from Suzaku went against everything that's been planned. Her resentfulness was displayed fully in the glare she shot over to the criminal responsible for this mess, which only got emphasized when Suzaku turned back to Bai Yen with a tearful and pitiful face. If one didn't know better, they might just assume she's being abandoned by her husband that caught her cheating and was now in the middle of trying to make excuses. Bai Yen, on the other hand, only felt increasingly uncomfortable under that look, rubbing her arms like she's just got the goosebumps. You insulted Deetsong just now, you know. What do you think he would do if he learns of it? That immediately caused a horrible change in Suzaku's face. She has always found the opposite sex disgusting. That's why she ended up saying that sentence without forethought. However, that doesn't excuse the fact that the man she's so jealous of was the king and husband to the woman whom she's sworn absolute loyalty to. Sister Suzaku, you just scolded Batty father, especially while in front of mother. If he learns of what you did, he will definitely come pluck your feathers. All smiles, the little steam bun just had to chime in at the worst possible moment. Going stiff like a rock, Suzaku's face had fallen into full panic mode. Don't assume just because Deetsong has lost his memories of the past that he would turn a blind eye to this transgression. Whenever it's related to Bai Yen, the man always stands at the forefront and would plow through any obstacle or threat. And now, she's insulted him right in front of the biggest taboo possible. It'd be a miracle if he doesn't chop her to pieces and make some roast chicken out of it. Chew, Queen, you have to help me. Suzaku then pulls at Bai Yan's hand, her face pitiful and crying. You have to save me from the king. If you don't, then I will die in front of you. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Stop crying already. Scanning the people present, her gaze carefully swept across everyone while making a heavy grin. If I don't say it and they don't say it, who do you think will tell him then? As long as she doesn't tattle, then these old-timers are sure to keep their mouths shut lest they want to get on her bad side. Phew, then that's great. Heaving a long sigh of relief, the Vermilion Bird lady swiftly returns to her old confident self as she eyed the criminal responsible for her misfortune. Under that squinting stare, June Ruching's face had lost all the blood from it. No, impossible. Lady Suzaku clearly likes the king. Otherwise, why else would she kill off all those females who tried to seduce His Majesty? And why is she acting like a little wife before the queen? You are called June Ruching? Suzaku's snarl has now formed an intimidating smile, thus allowing the bloodthirsty light to practically shine out of her iris. What, do you have an opinion about my guest? Widening her eyes in disbelief, the fox woman ends up stumbling backwards till she finally falls to the floor. I wouldn't dare. Not dare. Suzaku's smile was now baring teeth and releasing a suffocating aura of murder across the landscape. You're already trying to frame her by saying she's here to steal the Demon Mountain's treasure. She is my guest if she wants. Everything here is hers to take. What else do you have to say for yourself? The horror on Jun Ruqing's face only grew worse. The treasures in the Demon Mountain is hers to take? Why is Lady Suzaku treating this human woman so differently? Sister Suzaku, she likes my batty father, and slandered my mother about having multiple affairs behind his back. Looking up at the glamorous woman who only grew more furious with every word, Bai Shachen intends to add as much fuel to the fire as possible. Why are there so many people out there who wants to take my old pops away? Guest of the Demon Mountain. 7? That's so? Suzaku then raises a I got it smile. You want to use me to crush your rival, hence the reason why you framed me about liking his majesty. The fox woman wanted to back off again after that statement. Sadly for her though, there's nowhere left to back off to due to the big tree in the back. Unfortunately, pressing a few steps forward, the vermilion bird changes her smile to a sinister one that raised all the hair against her victim. I, Suzaku, hate being used by others. Bang! In a sweep of her hand, a flaming ball of heat promptly flew out and smashed right into Jun Ruqing's chest. You can all scram now. Shifting her sharp gaze to the elders next. By the way, tell sire that the queen will be staying at the Demon Mountain for a while. After saying that, Suzaku was just about to turn when guilt got the better of her. Remember to tell him this is Her Highness's will. She promised me to stay. In case the man would think I've kidnapped his family and come fight me for her. Making a meek smile, the first elder didn't want to go any deeper. All right. I will definitely report the truth to His Majesty. As for my goddaughter, issuing out a long helpless sigh, you can do as you please with Ruqing. I won't interfere or be involved anymore. Ho! Downright rude in her response, Suzaku lays it down bluntly. You can't get involved even if you want. Now scram. For Ditsong it's fear, for Baiyan it's respect. However, for everyone else she's not going to give a hoot about the rest. And sure enough, the members of the Demon Council promptly backed out of the mountain valley, leaving behind the still horrified fox demoness to fend for herself. Queen, how should we deal with this woman? Rubbing her chin, Suzaku asks. Still indifferent as usual, Baiyan only shot a single glance at the person. You can do as you see fit. I need to go refine these ingredients while they are still fresh. I fear I won't have any time to deal with her. Okay. All smiles. Then I will make sure she regrets the decision for the rest of her life. Jun Ruqing's iris magnified as a result of the intense fear, that voice shaking. No, I don't want to die. I beg you, please let me go. Despite the repeated pleading, the fox demoness actually broke out into a hysterical laughter afterwards. Queen, you will not be able to get what you want. Do you think that His Majesty really loves you? If not for you shamelessly giving birth to this brat, you think sire would have accepted you. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Shut up. Suzaku's face got cold and murderous. In the next second, a gulf of flame promptly seeped out of the floor to devour Jun Ruqing's entire existence, burning her and searing that soul. Though the pain was so immense that it had completely distorted the woman's face. The look in those eyes were release and success. Not missing this strange behavior, Suzaku sneered and laughed at the target. You want to irritate me and have me kill you immediately? Too bad for you, it won't go as you wish. My vermilion flame can burn infinitely so long as I will it, all the while healing and damaging you at the same time. You can enjoy a month of this pain before I'm done with you. Ha ha ha. Ah! From within the burning flame, Jun Ruqing's voice have already become hoarse and ghostly, making it all the more hair-raising as it resounded across the mountain. You will all pay for this. Pay for this, you hear me? Baiyan. Don't think for a second Suzaku can protect you forever on this Demon Mountain. There are plenty more like me who wants to be the queen. There is bound to be one who will take your life. While curses and the smell of burning flesh and soul made up the background, Baiyan, on the other hand, never once turned back like she's oblivious to the torturous scene. Mother? Looking up like he's worried for some reason. Bai Xiachen attempts to make some comforting words. Don't listen to that evil woman. Baddie father only have you in his eyes. I'm only second fiddle. Guest of the Demon Mountain, 8. Bai Yen went stiff over that sentence, her eyes showing a glint of surprise. Are you worried that I will be affected by the words of that person? Not answering for a while, the little steam bun appears to be troubled and was trying to think of a proper response. You silly, petting her son's hair. Bai Yen turns it around to comfort the boy instead. As if your mother I would be so easily manipulated by others? For some reason, when Bai Yen heard her son's sentence there, she had a strange feeling it's full of grief. Didn't you dislike him before? Why you helping him so much now? Tilting that little head of his. It's true I don't like Baddie father. He not only bullies me, he also bit mother. I would never bite mother like that. It must hurt, right? In the eyes of this youngling, the biggest impression he has of Ditsong was the fact that he forcefully kissed Bai Yen. Well, to him it only looked like a ferocious bite and nothing more. But Bai Xiachen then bursts into a gleeful smile. Baddie father is able to protect mother. As long as he can protect you, then I don't care. Anyone who can protect you is fine in my book. That instantly brought on a wave of warmth into Bai Yan's heart. Smiling straight to her eyes. I'm so happy to have a son like you. Let's go, this time I must succeed in creating that pill. Once I do, I can then have an immediate breakthrough. K. Inside the Snake Clan's home, an old man was currently sitting there with his knees crossed. Due to how weak that body was, one could barely tell he was alive if not for that small sound of breathing. Visit my site on PCA Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Ancestor. I just got a message from Qing Shui. She is asking when she can come back. A middle-aged man asks after pushing open the door to this room. Note: Qing Shui is the other snake woman who wants to make trouble from that incident. Going bitter in his lip, the one known as the ancestor of these snakes could only close his eyes. I'm afraid. She can't come back anymore. Frowning over that answer. What is the meaning of this? Qing Luan made a mistake. That's true, and it's her problem. There's no reason for the entire snake clan to be involved. Does sire really intend to punish our entire family over one single woman's fault? Haha! Snake ancestor just made a wry smile again. If only that was the case. Sadly, Qing Luan had summoned me over during the confrontation, and I too made the mistake of moving against the queen at that time. Considering His Majesty's personality, you think he would let us off? But it's already been a few days since he returned to the demon realm. Ancestor, are you sure you're not overthinking this? The middle-aged man then chuckles slightly like he's not willing to believe what's happening. As if His Majesty would wipe out our entire snake clan for a woman. What's more, we're preparing to attack the celestial realm. Why would sire weaken his own strength? The old snake shakes his head and shatters that illusion. Qing Feng, the man didn't come during this period. Not because he couldn't. Rather, he feels no urgency to do so. Once he's done tending to the other matters at hand, he will definitely come dispose of our clan. After saying this, the said senior becomes too tired to keep his eyes open and closes them. And, considering the man's strength at the time, he could have easily killed me back then. Yet he left me alive. What for? It's to deal with me in person after he returns to the demon realm. Guest of the Demon Mountain, 9. That useless Qing Luan. If she wants to be the queen, then it can't be so blatant. Fortunately, our snake clan still have Qing Shui. If she can escape this calamity, then the position will definitely be hers in the future. Qing Feng was ready to refute the ancestral snake again, when a flustered voice from the outside interrupted him. Chief, this is not good. It's His Majesty. He's demanding your presence and is ordering you to crawl over to him. What? The middle-aged man shuddered at the news. Can't be. Ancestor is right and intends to wipe out our entire snake clan? Yes, Ancestor. Closing his eyes, the man bows his head in compliance before turning away for the door. The main lobby of the snake clan's home. Qing Feng had just stepped into the hall when he was immediately confronted with the peerless contour of the mentioned man. Sire. Trembling all over, the snakish individual hurries to scurry forward with no way to speak. Against that presence, all his excuses and words were lost in that instant. You snakes are really bold, you know, daring to touch my wife and child even. The cruel and bloodthirsty light beams out of Song's eyes as he spoke. Or have the years of peace completely muddled the snake's awareness? The original snake family here was no more than slaves working under the protection of the demon realm, the lowest of the low. In fact, most of the other racial clans were free to give them a few kicks whenever they pleased. That's how low they were and how powerful the old clans were. For example, the dragon and phoenix race alone were enough to make the snake clan cry for mercy. Sire, this is entirely the fault of Qing Luan. She has already paid the price. Clearly trembling in that voice, Qing Feng wanted to pray for some kind of help right now. Please have mercy on our clan. I promise none of our members would ever do something so foolish again, like going after the position of being the queen. Song only sneered at that lie. As if a simple Qing Luan would have the courage to do what she did. Don't think I wouldn't know. I'm perfectly aware of your entire clan's scheme by this point, including many others as well. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Qing Feng was stiff as a rock over the last part. Why is His Majesty so heartless? It's common for a man to have multiple wives in this day and age. What's wrong with us wanting to send a member of our clan to his side? Someone come. Expressionless and unreadable, Song coldly calls out to his minions. Sire, please give your command. The leader of the group that came with him promptly answered. The snakes dare to scheme against the royal family. The crime is treason and shall be punished with death. None is to live today. None is to live today. That look, that tone. It's so cold and heartless that it's like the entire clan of snakes in the demon realm were dispensable extras. But in truth, they're not and would greatly cause a hurdle to his grand plan of invading the celestial realm. Even so, their behavior has completely violated his bottom line. A step that never should have been taken. Sire! Qing Feng slams to the ground in a begging posture. Please have mercy. Attacking the celestial realm requires a lot of manpower and the forces must be in great shortage. Our snakes will definitely be useful in your great plan. Please forgive us this time and allow us to make amends. Guest of the Demon Mountain, 10. Looking down at the middle-aged snake, Song's tone was cold and oppressive. Do you know why I'm attacking the celestial realm? Startled there for a second, Qing Feng looks up in amazement over the strange question. Can't be, the reason is not because he's irritated by the hypocrites in that realm? Not missing the dilemma surrounding his praised mind, Song's first reaction was to smile even more deeply, making his face all the more terrifying to those looking. It's because my wife wants to place the celestial realm under her feet. His voice rises to a domineering level. So, do you think I would let you snakes get away with harming her? For her alone, he's willing to turn heaven and earth to get what she wants. Now imagine the crime of trying to take her life. The snake clan was screwed. The sole reason he's making the entire demon realm attack the celestial realm is because his wife wishes for it. For a single woman? No! Raising that shocked head to meet Song's. This snake who now carries the burden of keeping his clan from utter destruction felt helpless and scared. Panic now reigns over his heart. I must inform Qing Shui of this. She must get away. The king is mad. For a single woman, for his queen, he's willing to sacrifice all of us. Your Majesty, I beg you to give me a few more days. Afterwards, I will personally come to the palace to meet my end. Banging his head hard against the floorboard, Qing Feng's forehead now riddles the ground with his oozing blood. Still cold and indifferent, Song was unmoved. I've returned to the demon realm for well over a few days already. Any mercy I have is already given. We're finished. Despair now fills the snake's eye. He had wanted to take the last opportunity to inform Qing Shui to give up on getting revenge. But not even that was given. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. This time our clan is done for. Begin. Upon those words, the man's very existence seems to grow exponentially more dangerous, suffocating those that's unfortunate enough to be nearby. Yes, sire. Moving forward, The guards quickly surrounded the residence with no room for escape. This left Qing Feng utterly bitter inside, for he never thought such a day would come. Ignoring everything, their clan should have deserved better, especially when they're the ones who found the princess years ago. "Sire!" A voice suddenly rushes in from the outside, followed quickly by a flushed personal who clearly ran a long way. "Sire! The queen has gone to the Demon Mountain." Slightly wrinkling his forehead. The one in the Demon Mountain would never harm her. But the guard anxiously looks up like he's afraid to speak. Jun Ruqing claimed the purpose of Her Royal Highness coming to the Demon Realm is to steal the treasures from the Demon Mountain. That's why the elders are currently chasing up to her right now. Di Tsong's complexion sank until it's dreadfully dark. That oppressive aura was tangibly visible now, making it all the more frightening for the messenger. Then by the time the person wanted to explain the part about Suzaku already disposing of the mess, it was too late. The demon lord's already gone. This is bad. The messenger's face was ghastly pale. I didn't have time to finish the story yet. Why did the king leave so quick? If His Majesty misunderstands and assume the elders were going there to help that Jun Ruqing, then I will be the one responsible for the fault. Love 1. First Elder. On the Demon Mountain, the First Elder was in the middle of rushing down of the place when he overheard the call from his brothers who were trying to keep up with his pace. "Is there anything else you guys want to ask?" One of the old men present hesitates for a while before asking, "Did you know ahead of time that Lady Suzaku wouldn't trouble Her Highness?" Giving the rest a long look, the leader of this bunch eventually nods, confirmation their suspicion of why their leader would be so certain Jun Ruqing was lying back there. There are some things that can't be said in one go. Back then I was still very young, so I'm not entirely in on the full story, so only the state teacher does regarding the state of everything. However, I do know enough that Lady Suzaku would never harm the queen. The one who just passed us, is that the king? The man's face was terribly pale at the thought. It seems to be him, another elder gulped. Why do I have the feeling someone is going to suffer very soon? Under the glowing white light of the landscape on this demon mountain, the red burning flame that's created under the power of the vermilion bird was exceptionally out of place. This was the prison and punishment for the fox demoness. "King," the fox painfully murmurs after discovering the purplish-silvery figure that arrived just moments ago. In all honesty, she had thought the chance to meet this man would never come again. But that hope was merely her own illusion, for Di Tsong's gaze right now could only be called cruel and dangerous. In fact, it's downright dangerous in how bloodshot red it was. A typical angry beast that's ready to pounce at its prey and rip it to shreds. And sure enough, Di Tsong didn't wait and reached out to rip the woman out of the flames in one forceful tug of his power. "Sire, I knew you wouldn't be so heartless to me." Giving a hopeful light in her iris, Jun Ruqing was overjoyed at being freed from her burning prison. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. That's right. No matter what, I'm still the goddaughter of the First Elder. There's no way the king would be so passionless. "So you are Jun Ruqing?" The man's voice was low and hoarse that instantly captivated the woman. "Sire, I've longed for you since the very first moment I saw you. Now that you've saved me, I can only repay the debt by bestowing myself to you. I will dash beam." From out of the blue, 2 hot rays of searing light shoots out of the man's hand and enters the fox demoness's eye, causing her to scream out in excruciating pain. "But why?" Trembling in the lip, her body recedes back to the old tree that had cornered her during Bai Yan's confrontation. Because of that blood seeping out of her eye sockets and the grief-filled face, that entire appearance now had nothing left of the seductive and charming image she portrayed to those around herself. "Love, too. Did you think that I pulled you out of Suzaku's flame was in order to save you?" Di Tsong just sneered and held the woman in contempt. "You bullied my wife. For that, even your death is not enough. I honestly wonder where people like you get the confidence from." Compared with the pain of her whole body, what hurts more was the crushing feeling within her ruined heart. Jun Ruqing truly never expected that by falling in love with this man would send her down an irreversible path. Despite those eyes being blind already, in darkness was all she could see. The signature aura of the arrogant and domineering man still drew her face towards his direction. If Ditsong married any other woman of the demon realm, then I could still bring myself to accept the fact. But that's a human woman. How can I possibly accept being outdone by a mere mortal? Because she is my life. Those who wish her harm or threatens her is the same as doing it to me. So, I can only crush and remove any threat that comes my way. The bloodthirstiness fully seeping out from Ditsong's voice. Because she is my wife. Ha ha ha. The fox demoness breaks out into a hysterical laughter, letting her body to shake due to the immense emotions flowing out. In truth, I never wanted the queen's position. I only wanted to be by your side. Why can't you satisfy my one simple request? Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases as Ditsong slowly approached her. The oppressive might has left her completely unable to lift that head. You want to know? I can tell you. In light of that handsome and peerless contour, the only vibe coming off of this demon lord was a dangerous air that told those who looked at him to run. I promised to be with her for life. Only her and I. Besides her, there will be no other woman. Originally June Ruching have already been hurt thoroughly to her heart. But those words were truly ruthless. It's equivalent to someone ripping the heart out and then riddling it with holes before stuffing it back in again. She could barely breathe as a result of that pain. Only her in this life? Ha! How many people out there can actually keep such a promise? Yet it's the king who makes this promise. Why can't the woman be me? If June Ruching had to choose, she would rather be dead instead of listening to these heart-wrenching words. I have said what should be said. Standing before the woman in close contact now, Ditsong's palm immediately materializes a transparent layer of white energy to rip out the woman's soul. Because of how sudden and how quick the act was, nothing had prepared the demoness from this, leaving her utterly clueless as to why she's once again being burned inside the flame. However, this time around the pain was way more intense and more penetrating. Suzaku is still too kind. Your physical body is blocking half of her powers. Without it, you will now experience pain several times that of before. Also, a month is too little for you, so I've taken the liberty to increase it. Now your soul is linked directly to the world itself. So long as the world lives, your burning soul will also continue to live. You should thank me for giving you eternal life. Love, 3. Not far away inside a secluded cave, Bai Yen was currently awaiting the cauldron to finish its last stage of refinement with her eyes closed. Success! She cries out after getting the first whiff of the pill's aroma. Hurrying to get up from her seat, Bai Yen wasted no time in pushing the lid open and letting her eyes take witness to the marvel that's inside 3 green beads with 3 bright red lines on the body. Try reaching Soul Dan pill. With this, I can immediately have a breakthrough in my cultivation. Picking up the 3 precious pills, her lips inexplicably curled into a smile at the thought of being to use it on her son as well. That's right. Bai Yen nods. What about my son and little Rice? Oh, they went out to play by themselves. I am here to guard you. Smiling right up to her obsessive eyes, the glamorous woman promptly hooked her arms around Bai Yan's to close in the distance. Why can't I ever get enough of? Oh, the more I look, the more I like. Then just as Suzaku was about to continue the conversation in a different direction, mainly about themselves, a gloomy aura from behind catches her by surprise. Going stiff, she hurried to release that arm and shuddered backwards a step. Ditsong, how come you are here? Ignoring the sour mood of her man, Bai Yen asks with a hint of surprise in that voice. I came to pick you up, of course. The man's terrifying air recedes as soon as he turns back to face his future wife. That wasn't something Bai Yen had expected. First looking at Suzaku's pitiful face, then back at Ditsong, who clearly meant what he said. I promise Suzaku that I will stay here to accompany her for half a month. Not to mention that I am looking for a quiet place to have a breakthrough in my cultivation as well. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Okay. Then I will accompany you here too. Evoking an evil grin, Ditsong pulls at that dainty hand to bring his greatest desire into his embrace. Yen, those that bullied and harmed have all been dealt with. I've also destroyed the snakes from back then. Now there's no one left to get in our way. Originally, Song had expected gratitude and approval for his actions. After all, it was all for her sake. Sadly, his own assumptions only made the woman go completely dark in the face. Am I someone who tattles and complain to others? Yen thought. This snake clan should have been destroyed long ago. Suzaku indignantly snorts. Nothing but the most inferior of slaves out there. How dare they connive after the queen's position? I think you were rather late in doing it even. But that's about all she could say, for the cold hard glare from the man had shut that mouth up in an instant. You talk too much. After saying this, the man swiftly shifts his attention back to Yen. Those lips and eyes more and more charming, like he's deliberately putting on his best light. Yen, I will take you to a place. Yen was so taken aback by that sentence that she literally became stoned. Not giving her the chance for refusal, the man's arm has already wrapped around that waist and off they went together. Where are you taking me? Yen frowns as they flew through the sky. You will know later. Brushing her silky hair along the way, the man's voice was hoarse and hypnotic. Knowing it's pointless to resist now, Yen simply let it go and just followed along with whatever he has planned. It's not the first time he's done something so demanding, so it's futile to resist. Love for red all over the mountain. This landscape was absolutely gorgeous in the number of bloodish flowers making up the ground. Song, why are you taking me here? Firmly held by the man, Yen's hand felt warm and secure. Yen, slightly cocking that chin to gaze at the surrounding, the man's domineering presence somehow weakens. Our son told me already. What? Yen became startled by the strange sentence and looked up. The story you told Xiachen in private, he has already passed it on to me. That little traitor, gnashing those teeth. This poor mother never thought her most trusted baby would betray her like this. I admit that when I first approached you, it was with purpose. But then, the man puts on the warmest and most sincere smile he could muster. I suddenly found out how important you truly are to my heart. In the past, men would only use their arrogance and power to forcefully entangle themselves around her. Therefore, this would be the first confession she's truly ever had. What do you want to do? Staring straight into those eyes, Yen's heart thumped incredibly hard till it's erratic and abnormal. Give you peace in the heart. He knows that Yen has never accepted him. All because her heart didn't feel secure enough. She fears the same experience and pain from that abandoned girl in the story would occur on herself. Song? Yen narrows her eyes. Do you know what you are talking about? Give me peace of mind? Such words, does he think he could do it just by saying so? Perhaps able to perceive the inner thoughts of the woman, Song only smiled and worked to reassure that doubt. Do you think that I would abandon you one day if I have to choose between the demon realm or you? If so, I can prove it to you. I'm giving the entire demon realm to you. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. This way those worries are no longer a concern. Song. Yen's complexion sank, her voice cold. You are serious? I am always serious about you. I am always serious about you. These words continue to echo beside those ears like a ringing gong. The man's words blew apart beside Yen's ear, causing her hands to clench into a tight ball of uncertainty. But I won't accept it. Dropping this reply, she wanted to leave right away and escape from this uncomfortable conversation. However, the male from the back didn't want to let it end like this and pulled her straight back into his grasp. Song, you? Yen's eyes were angry, but those lips were smothered once again by the shamelessness of this male who wished to use action to prove his conviction. Enough! In one forceful push, she attempts to remove herself. Do you know what can make me feel secure? Fine, I will tell you today so you can stop having any illusions. I want power, strength that belongs to me. Only then can I feel safe and secure. From beginning to start, you never knew what I wanted. I understand then, you are right. However, for you, I'm willing to learn. Yen's heart didn't calm down at all, only trembling harder till it's starting to hurt from fear. Closing those eyes, she now knows she has truly fallen for him and the last wall in her heart has crumbled. Unborn child 1. Song, are you sure? Anything I want, you are willing to give me? Bai Yan looks deep into the man's iris, hoping to get some sort of clue as to whether or not she could believe his words. My life is yours. Ditsong firmly grasped onto her hand and pressed it against his chest. Without you in this world, my life would become meaningless. Boom! Bai Yan's head just got blown apart by this sentence. From within the depths of her memories, she's got the strange, aching feeling that someone said the exact same thing before. If there is no you, what meaning is there to my life? Yen. Seeing the sudden change in complexion, Ditsong hurries to examine the woman, his voice anxious with a trace of concern. Are you sick? Slowly, she opens her eyes again with a gorgeous smile that could enslave the world. Ditsong, I am willing, be the queen of this realm. This time, she's willing to put down that guard of hers for real and would try to accept this man from the bottom of her heart. Yen, are you trying to trick me? Or are you? The man's hand trembled, making his movements stiff and awkward. Damn bastard. Bai Yan was now angry. Picking up her toes, the woman uses her lips to dismiss any doubt by making it clear what her emotions are. And as if that wasn't enough, she decides to push him down to take the top position. Ditsong, if you don't believe it, then I can take back my words just now. Also, the kiss is what you owe me? Scoffing a laugh to cover her own embarrassment, Bai Yan was just about to climb up from the man's body when a hand stretched upwards and pulled her back down. Then, using this momentum, Ditsong promptly rolled both their bodies around to let him be the one on top and her at the bottom. Oh Yen, how can I let go when you are throwing yourself at me like this? Transforming that snarky grin into a devious one, this demon lord was now ready to have a taste of the sweet nectar for real this time. Don't worry, I've already said hello to everyone around here. No one is going to come disturb us this time. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases narrowing those mesmerizing eyes. Bai Yan also gets naughty in the tongue. But compared to being reactive, I rather be the party that's taking the initiative. Chuckling over that statement. Then we're good then, I also like it when you are taking the initiative. 6 years ago, it was exactly this woman who took the initiative to do those blasphemous things while I was down. Just that. At the thought of what they experienced and the unforgettable intimacy they shared back then, Ditsong's lips inexplicably curved into a genuine smile of hopeful anticipation. And without disappointment, Bai Yan's next course of action was to use that perverse finger of hers to direct the man's lip to her own. The sensation could only be described as electrifying. Unlike the previous exchanges where only one side took power, this time they're both willing and seeking comfort from each other's existence. Unborn child, too. This would not be the first time the pair has had sex before, otherwise how would Bai Xiaqin come into existence? However, this time the conditions are different and that they're fully awake and aware of their situation. Clothes removed after that brief struggle to strip, the man desperately wants to make the female under him melt into his skin. Yen, you are not going to change your mind, right? He pauses at the next step of their union and asked with a hoarse voice of uncertainty. Regarding the man's insecurity, Bai Yan just couldn't resist and chuckled happily. To prove it to this fool, she then gives him another kiss on the lip to show her willingness. Boom! Painful. Clutching that head, Bai Yan has found herself standing on the battlefield again after closing and opening her eyes. There are corpses littering this barren landscape and the sky still stained with blood like the last, giving it an odd sense of beauty and cruelty. What the hell is this place? Why do I keep getting these visions and of the same picture? If the last was the result of making a contract with Little Rice, then what about the other times? Also, this time is while I'm still awake. This can't be right. Looking a bit flustered now, Bai Yan searched the chaotic battlefield for any familiar figures that might recognize. Then that's when she froze from where she stood. Not far away, a peerlessly handsome face of a man had come into view. Covered in blood, this individual was currently embracing a woman that's lifelessly lying in his arms. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Sire, the queen has already passed away. Please. The rest of the soldiers are all on their knees, sadness permeating the battlefield as a result of their depressed atmosphere. Scram! A bestial form now takes over that voice as the man eyed his people around himself. She is not dead. I will never allow anyone to say such a thing. Never allow it. Sire, the queen really is gone now. If you continue to go on like this, then what about the demon realm? An old man nervously speaks out after mustering up his courage. Boom! In one sweep of that hand, a powerful force slams against the old man's chest and causes him to stumble backwards. You shut up. If I say she's not dead, then she's not dead. If you keep making false accusations of her well-being, then I will tear you to pieces. Do you hear me? Shuddering over that threat, none of the soldiers present would dare speak out again, their heads hanging so low that it's literally down to their chest. Bai Yan wasn't far away from all of this, so she just kept watching. And the more she watched, the more shocked her eyes are becoming. Why was that? Simple. There's no foggy haze blocking those faces, and she could recognize exactly who it was. Deetsong. That is Deetsong. And the other one is me. Retracting that attention from the one who spoke earlier, the blood-covered man returns his gaze back to the pale-faced woman in his arms that's clearly without life. However, instead of the violent and ferocious air he presented to everyone else, there's only a deep level of affection in that face. You promised me before that we would always be together and that you would give me 100 little foxes. You can't leave me like this. His hand gently stroked the woman's face after saying those words, his smile full of warmth and sadness. Unborn child, 3. Do you remember the first time we met? I never thought I could fall so madly in love with you on first sight. That's when I knew you had to be my one and only love of my life. But it seems I was too late in coming into your life. Your attention was always on the person next to you. In order to make an impression, I did the only thing I knew how and kept bullying you. I knew that would only cause you to resist me further. So why are you leaving me so soon after I went through such lengths to win your heart? Without you, my life has no meaning left to it. The man's footsteps were awkward and staggering by this point. Nevertheless, the grip around that cold body of the woman in his arms never once loosened, like it's the only way to keep his sanity intact. Sire! I won't say it for a third time, Scram. Another old elder impatiently speaks up despite the warning. Sire, what about the demon realm? If you leave. Demon realm? The man started to laugh hysterically till his voice echoed across the sky in this quiet battlefield. If not for the demon realm, if not for you bunch of fools, my wife would not have abandoned me. Damn you all. Damn every single one of you. But I won't kill you all. Not because I don't want to, no. But because I don't want my wife's sacrifice to be in vain. However, that doesn't mean I will forgive any of you. In this lifetime, I never want to see anyone from the demon realm again. After leaving that behind, the man continued to walk towards the endless wasteland which lies ahead of this location, his mouth constantly trickling out with blood. But in the end, the injuries and pain were too much for his soul. Crashing to the cold hard ground with his knees scraped as a result, he throws up a big mouthful of blood to indicate how weak his body was. In fact, merely supporting his own weight has become an enormous effort in itself. Deetsong. Bai Yan's heart ached profusely at the painful sight. Sadly, when it came time for her to reach out with that hand in order to grab the man's arm, it merely went through like an illusion. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. It's the same as the last time again. I can't touch anyone in this space just like that vision with Little Rice. You have left me so many times already, and every time I have somehow managed to make it in time. But this time, it seems I can no longer find you again. The man's face leaked out a dreary smile as he laid the precious body to the ground. But don't worry. Even if I have to exhaust all my life and energy, I will make it so that you can have another opportunity at being reincarnated. After saying that, the man then rests his hand on the lower abdomen of the woman's belly, where there's an obvious bump of a small life yet to be born. I remember when you named this little fox on that day. You said you hoped the baby would be as bright as the morning sun. That's why you named him Shachin. Thankfully you are pregnant, giving me the chance to reshape your soul. Note, for anyone wondering, Unlike Western names that's only intended to be unique, Chinese names are always meant to have a specific meaning instead, even if it sounds like the most common name around. Even if it costs me my life, I will definitely make you anew again. The following words were deaf to Bai Yan's ear at this point. She's shaking because of how unbelievable things were. Xiachen, the unborn child, he is also called Xiachen, tightly pursing her lips, tears flowed out of those pained eyes with no control from the host. Special existence, 1. So it turns out Xiachen is my child in the past too, but I failed to protect him, causing him to miss out on his chance to see the world. Yenye, a familiar ring beckons beside her ear, causing the scene in front of Bai Yan to fluctuate and distort until it's completely dissolved into the darkness. Slowly opening those eyes after coming back to reality, a trickle of tear now flows down the side of that cheek. Di Tsong, suddenly throwing herself into the man's arm after saying that. She tightly clutches onto the one in front like the physical contact was the only way to keep her unsettled heart from losing itself. If you don't want to, then I won't force you. Stroking her silky black hair, the man dons a comforting smile in response. In any case, you are mine sooner or later. I'm in no hurry. The pain from the vision still lingers, causing excruciating pain inside. Di Tsong, I want to see Xiachen. Can we go back? Raising her face up to meet his, 2 droplets of tears teeters along the lash to make that plea all the more effective. Okay. Pulling her into a tighter embrace, he too appeared distressed at the moment. He's seen many sides of this woman in his arms, but never a weak front like right now, making it all the more disturbing for him. When Bai Yan and Di Tsong returned to the Demon Mountain, the painful screams of Jun Ruching were long gone from the air. Instead, the fox woman's soul now curls into a fetal position inside the burning flame, her eyes the only thing showing the hatred she held for the ones responsible for the pain she's experiencing. Of course, Bai Yan's aware of the venomous gaze coming her way as they flew by in the air, but that's of no concern to her now. She couldn't afford to wait any longer and only wanted so dearly to see that familiar steam bun in her arms again. At the moment, outside the hut where the boy should be, Bai Xiachen and Little Rice was currently chasing each other around in playful glee when the boy was suddenly picked up from behind. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases, likely able to sense the familiar scent. He immediately looked up to find Bai Yan's pale face that shocked him. Mother, what's wrong? Is it Batty father bullying you again? That only warranted a tighter hug. Mother! The boy continues to blink that big blue eye in confusion. What happened to Mother? Why do I have a feeling that it's the same as when she contracted Little Rice, like I've missed something important? Son, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Rubbing her own cheek against the boy's, she sounded painfully apologetic with that whimpering. I couldn't protect you before and deprived you of a future, but I won't let that happen again. I won't let anyone hurt you again. Thank you for coming back into my life again. Mother, I can't breathe. Flushing red from having his poor lungs squished, the baby cries out in protest. Oh, I'm sorry. Hurrying to loosen her own grip. I got too emotional there. Mother, can you tell me what happened? I can help carry some of your weight if you do. Flashing bright in those innocent eyes of his, Bai Xiachen attempts to act like the little man that he was. Special existence, too. It's nothing, gently rubbing her son's head. Mother just loves you too much. Although Bai Xiachen didn't know what happened still, but Bai Yan's words were more than enough to make his smile glowing. I also love Mother very, very much. Under the brushing of the breeze, Di Tsong's complexion promptly grew dark after hearing the interaction of this mother and son. In particular was when Bai Yan gave Bai Xiachen a kiss on the forehead at the end. Mother! Noting the gloomy mood oozing off of his old man then, the baby boy subconsciously squirmed closer into his mother's chest for safety. Batty father is very scary. What are you doing in trying to scare my son? Bai Yan's scolding voice shoots over without a second of delay. Yeah, you didn't do anything all right, but who could bear taking that gaze of yours? Lady Suzaku murmurs in complaint from somewhere. If you scare him again, Bai Yan narrows in her eye dangerously. I will take my son and run away from home. Song's face just went charcoal black over that remark. How can this woman use running away from home as a way to scare me? Yet it was precisely this threat that has left him in a bind. Say you love me, then I won't scare him in the future. Bai Yan's eyes are full of smiles then. Are you being jealous of your own son? I want to hear. Song slowly approached further, letting his overbearing momentum to give weight. I want to hear you say this to me. Gently caressing her chin, Bai Yan squints those eyes like she's contemplating the idea. That will depend on your performance first. If you can really stop scaring my son, then I will say that to you. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. The man didn't answer right away. Instead, his sight now falls upon the baby boy in the woman's arms still. All right, I promise you. But first I want to take some interest. In one pull of his hand, the woman once again falls into his grasp and allows their lips to make contact. He just couldn't get enough of this experience ever since their first kiss. While the couple were having their sweet, oh so sweet kiss, Bai Shachin on the other hand was fuzzing up like an exploded cat that's had his tail stepped on. Batty father is biting mother in front of me again. Fortunately little Rice was a quick thinker. Jumping up in haste, the little tiger hurries to cover the kid's eye from the naughty picture that shouldn't be shared with little boys. Song. Bai Yan rapidly pushes herself away and angrily reprimands the man. Your son is still here. Isn't he afraid of teaching our son bad habits by doing such lewd things in front of our son? Pricking his brow, Song then shifts his gaze over to the boy. Don't you want a sister? Electrified by that question, Bai Shachin immediately shook off the tiger's paw and revealed that sly smile of his. Batty father, have fun with mother, okay? Me, little Rice, and sister Suzaku will go play somewhere else. Before turning away, he didn't forget to drag little Rice away as well by the tail. Bai Yan, on the other hand, was left flabbergasted. Widening those beautiful eyes like she didn't know her own son, the woman just stood there with the gentle wind blowing against her hair. Song, you? But no further words could come of that mouth, blocked by a ill-behaving tongue. Her heart jumped a beat like it's about to explode. Demon Realm. Within a dark cave, a certain individual was currently sitting crossed-legged on the ground with his back facing the entrance. As a result of the strange fog obscuring that face, it became absolutely impossible to see what the man looked like lest they go up front. Special Existence. 3. Sounds of footsteps soon interrupted the silence here. What are you doing here? Walking into the cave was a woman wearing an emerald green dress. Just that in comparison with Qing Luan, who tried to kidnap Bai Shachin and his friends back at the human world. This one carried more of a frosty air around the eyebrows. My family, the entire snake clan has been destroyed. Qing Shui grew bitter and cold in that voice. It was destroyed by the king. I know. The man wryly smiles. Considering his majesty's means, he will never let anyone from the snake clan escape. Aren't you afraid of being discovered by coming to see me? I want you to help me. The snake woman's eye grew sharp and seething. In this world, only you can help me now. The man's body went stiff like a rock, his gaze staring intently at the woman trying to tempt his desire. Qing Shui, wouldn't it be better if you let go of the past and start over? Ha ha! The snake demoness only sneered in return. You don't understand. You don't understand love at all. A person like His Majesty is unforgettable once met. Not understand? How can I not understand? The man's fist tightly clenches into a ball. If not for our bond, would I have helped you escape from death even if it meant going behind the king and everyone else? The king and queen are destined to be together. That's something the state teacher and elders agreed upon. What can you do in this case? The man smiles helplessly, still trying to persuade the other side to abandon the obsession. What fated pair? The king is a fox, and she is just a low-standing human mortal. How can she be worthy of the king? Qing Shui's eyes were bloodshot red now. I refuse to believe it. Refuse to believe I would lose to someone like that. If you don't help me today, then I will die in front of you. In one draw of her sword, the snake woman holds herself hostage by pushing the blade next to her neck. In this world, Only he can help me. Qing Shui. The man was both anxious and angry. Are you threatening me? I'm out of options. You are the only existence of your kind in this world. I'm afraid aside from me and the state teacher, there's no other who would know about you. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. The man's body froze right then and there, making a bittersweet smile after a good minute later. True, the state teacher created me all for the sake of taking the king's place during a critical moment. And with the king's arrogance, he would never allow someone like me to exist if he finds out. But don't forget though, my job may be to die in the king's stead. But that doesn't mean I would turn my back on the demon realm. Years ago, meeting Qing Shui was nothing more than an accident. However, it was precisely this accident that's managed to console the loneliness in his heart. But to betray the demon realm? There's no way he could do that. I just want to be this world's queen, and I'm not asking you to betray the demon realm. Despite Qing Shui's tones softening up, the sword beside her neck remains firm nevertheless. Can you help me? As long as I am the queen, I will definitely find a way to make it so you can appear before the public. I know His Majesty would do anything I say when he's such an affectionate man. By then you won't have to worry about your own existence being erased by him. For fear of the man rejecting, she continues to dangle her bait with no room for rebuttal. The queen's coronation won. What's more, don't you hate state teacher? If it weren't for him, you would not be so miserable. Even if you... Qing Shui. The man stood up, his eyes gazing down at the woman who's been with him for hundreds of years. Fine, I will help you, but only for this one time. Whether or not you can get the king's heart will be up to yourself. That immediately brought on a smile to the demoness, causing that firm grip to finally loosen around the neck. Thank you. I just knew you would help me. Demon Mountain. After her success in refining the tri-reaching Soldan pill, Bai Yan's been intending to seclude herself for the impending breakthrough. Sadly for her though, Ditsong Hasa beat her to the punch by openly announcing the date of the coronation to the public, thus causing her to delay that plan until after the ceremony. Yet not all were happy, of course. Unfortunately for these brave souls, their feet couldn't even make it to the palace gate before they were shooed away by the soldiers in charge. Sister-in-law? Di Shaowan blinks and blinks over how leisurely the woman in charge was acting despite the fact that the coronation was just around the corner. Tomorrow is your coronation as the queen. Shouldn't we leave this mountain and go prepare like all the rest? Giving a stretch like a lazy cat, Bai Yan dismisses the idea. No need to hurry. It will be fine tomorrow. Alright, where did that friend of yours go? That Huang Xiaoying? Di Shaowan didn't reply immediately like her usual self, only showing a vigilant and alarmed look. Sister-in-law, why are you thinking about that girl all of a sudden? Am I not good enough? I'm just asking out of curiosity and boredom. The lazy woman then caresses her chin like she's thinking of something bad. To be quite honest, she didn't hold any disgust towards Huang Xiaoying at all. If not for Little Rice not liking the girl, she would be quite happy to make her a good follower of hers in fact. But sister-in-law, that Huang Xiaoying is a sweet dumbaklutz. You mustn't like her, okay? You only need to like me and that's enough. That damn brat, it wasn't even all that long ago where she got tricked by that Jun Ruching. Now she wants to stick around my nephew and sister-in-law? Dream on. I won't give anyone that chance to steal them away. Gnashing her teeth, the demon princess now has the tigress blacklisted. Auntie? Bai Xiachen timely sticks his head out from the side to speak. Are you talking about yourself? That question promptly brought on a wave of grievance in the girl's heart. Xiachen, is this how you think of me inside? I'm a sweet dumbaklutz? Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases now that's left the little steambun in a bind. As much as he would like to not hurt his auntie there, but the good upbringing of an honest child still got the better of him, which in turn manifested as an unbearable nod. Clack! Di Shaowan actually heard her heart shattering apart right there and then. In one full burst of grievance, she openly cries with tears flowing out. Sister-in-law, your son is bullying me, is that right? How come I didn't see it? Casting a look at the little steambun next to her, Bai Yan just smiled like it didn't happen. Sniffling her nose, brother is bullying me, and now these two are bullying me too by joining forces? You two. The waterfall doesn't stop. I'm going to have a baby of my own too. Then my baby can help me, humph. The queen's coronation, too. In the heart of this demon princess, her son could only be as clever and sensible as by Xiachen. Therefore, it's natural that her son would come to her defense when she's being bullied. Unfortunately, by the time her son was born, that's when she realized what the true meaning of favoring outsiders versus one's own side. Not only did she not get an extra helper, the dastardly boy had turned around to help Ditsong's family to bully her. Auntie? Bai Xiachen gives the princess a pat on the shoulder. If you want to have a son, you must first find a husband who's willing to have one with you though. Have you seen someone making a baby by themselves? Mother, I am so hungry. The boy turns to Bai Yen for help. I want to eat red roast meat made by mother. Okay, I will make it for you. Giving her son a pinch on the cheek, she puts on a spoiled smile as she got up from the couch. Let's go. Bursting into a gleeful grin, the baby boy didn't dally. Hurrying to match his mother's speed, he tightly holds onto her hand to leave the moping princess in the background. Because of the coronation ceremony that's about to take place tomorrow, the whole palace was abuzz with noise. But compared with the jubilant air of the palace though, the females who adores Ditsong were all left heartbroken. As a result, there were in fact a shortage of young maidens attending. Their excuses were they're sick and such. Of course, this group was considered to be the smarter ones, for the other group were still clinging onto the idea of stealing the position of queen from the human mort. Inside one of the palace courtyards, a little girl of innocent demeanor struggles to move forward by clinging onto the wall. Compared to the daughters of the various families in attendance, there's not a single maid or servant to help this girl in question. Even so, this toddler-sized girl continues to walk before being blocked off by another figure. Second sister, she politely calls out to the one in front. Who is your second sister? The one blocking the young toddler was a sharp-looking maiden that carried the look of shame and disgust. If you dare call me your second sister again, I will cripple you right now. But you are my second sister. The little girl's eyes were innocent and untainted. I didn't make a mistake. The people around them only snickered with laughter after hearing this. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. So this is the little lady of the dragon family? I heard she can't even walk properly yet despite her age, and doesn't understand anything. Che, this little lady is a fool, plain and simple. Moreover, her age is not much different from the second lady over there either, just that she never grows for some reason. Haha. If I have such a sister, then I will be mad too. Although the little girl could hear everything from her distance, but based on that confused look and clueless demeanor, it's obvious she didn't get the meaning. Second sister, what am I doing wrong? You shut up. The lady roars out with rage. I really don't know what father is doing. I can't believe he would let you come participate in the queen's coronation. Can't be. A wench like you is also conniving after the consort position? The queen's coronation, 3. What is a consort? Can you eat it? The little clueless girl then salivates at the mouth like she's already imagining how delicious the object was. Second sister, I'm hungry. That immediately brought on a wave of laughter from the crowd again. This young missy of the dragon family really is a fool. Eat, always only know how to eat. Watch you die from having your tummy blow up from overstuffing it. A touch of disdain flickers out of the bigger lady's eye. However, the likes of you could never become the king's consort. If you dare to make a grab for that post against me, then I won't let you off the hook. The position of being the queen has already been taken, but there are still other empty seats up for grab. Sire never took any other woman until now, so there's a good chance there. What man doesn't play around? A few wives here and there is common and accepted. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm going to tear you to shreds if you keep eyeing me. An existence like you will only tarnish the name of us dragons. Reaching over to pinch the little missy's arm, this older sister's actions were truly brutal. If not for father watching over you, I would have already driven you out of the family. Now get out of my sight before I get mad. All teary and pained. The one known as the fool of the dragon family didn't dare to plead for mercy. No matter how slow she was in the head, this little missy still knew crying for help here in these situations would do no good and would only warrant further punishment. Stop! It was then an infuriated voice came from behind, causing the instigator of the scene to jolt back in haste like a guilty criminal. Among the group that arrived, the most striking had to be reddish figure at the forefront. The woman was dashing and enchanting in how beautiful her contours were. Truly peerless and unmatchable that has left these people breathless. But then it didn't take long for everyone's attention to shift to the little steam bun holding the woman's hand. Adorable like a doll. The boys no different from a treat to the eye. Now they know this had to be their future queen and prince. Otherwise who else could they be? Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Today is my sister-in-law's coronation day. Who gave you lot permission to make trouble inside the palace? Stepping forward to inquire for the details, Di Xiaowan hurried to pull the little missy to the side for protection. Mother, I feel so sad for this little sister. Look at her arm, it's all bruised up already. Tugging at his mother's sleeve, Bai Xiachen eyes the dragon girl with a pitiful look. Bai Yan didn't move right away, only rubbing the boy's hair to soothe his discomfort. Things simply didn't add up. For one, this little girl that's being picked upon was obviously from the dragon family. And as everyone knows, dragons are a race of great pride and power. Merely out of respect and fear, these other attendees from the other clans should have stepped in to help, not join in on the mockery and ridicule. Tell me what happened. Soft in her tone, Bai Yan turns to the small little one for an answer because those big innocent eyes could tell no lie. It's too pure and innocent, unlike the mean and cruel ones portrayed by the older sister. Second sister stopped me earlier when I was walking, and when I called out to her, she got angry and yelled at me. Did I do something wrong? She is my second sister, so I don't see the problem. All sad and confused, the little missy drops her head like someone who's made a mistake. The queen's coronation for you? The bigger girl angrily stamps her feet in frustration over being pointed out by the younger sister. My queen, this girl is nothing more than a fool. I'm afraid her existence alone will pollute the palace. We should drive her out of here lest she tarnishes someone of your status with her own. Before coming, their father has already mentioned the part about currying the favor of said queen if she wishes to become a consort. Otherwise, the idea would be out of the question according to the information they gathered. Gazing down at the wench, Bai Yan dons a cold sneer of contempt. In my opinion, the one who's tarnishing the palace with their existence is you. Guards, toss this one out of the palace. I don't want to see her. The bigger girl just popped her eyes in disbelief. How can she toss me out? Does the queen know already about me wanting to become a consort? Queen, you can't do this. Does the king know of your actions? I am a member of the prestigious dragon family. There's no way his majesty would agree with this. Bai Yan simply snickered her tongue in return when the lady's being dragged away. If I can't even expel a person that I deem necessary, then I might as well forget about continuing the coronation. There's a saying that there's always no fear when being pampered. That's why she knows Ditsong would never blame her regardless of the trouble that arises. However, that's not something the public knew though. No longer mere astonishment over the human woman's beauty. Everyone's initial disdain of a mere mortal now changes to admiration and applause. It's common knowledge that no one in the demon realm could stand up to the king, let alone go against his will or orders. It's okay now. Bai Yan turns to look at the little missy. If you are worried about going back, then you can stay with us. As it so happens, my son is missing a playmate. Blinking those untainted big eyes, the girl eventually moved her attention to the little steam bun. Little brother, you are so good looking. Instead of being happy over that compliment, Bai Xiachen only had the face of a bleak male that got his ego stepped on. I am a man, a man. You can't use that word to describe me, you know. Then what am I supposed to call you? Tilting that head in confusion, she asks. You should be boasting me as cute. He answers with a serious and earnest tone. Bai Yan just couldn't take it anymore, twitching hard in the corner of her mouth. So good-looking is a no-no, but cute is a go? That's a first. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. What is your name? Touching the little missy's head, Bai Yan's asks with sweetness in her voice. My father calls me Dragoni, while the other members of the clan calls me Little Young Miss. What about your mother? Oh, my mother calls me the little fool. Bai Yan's heart shook in that moment. All of a sudden, sadness grips her innards as she eyed the young little lady that's looking straight up at herself. In the future, you will stay with me and no one will bully you anymore. Bai Yan then turns to look at the demon princess nearby. Go tell your brother to inform the members of the dragon clan that Dragoni will be staying with me for the time being. Everyone was shocked and stunned. The queen dares to treat the princess as her own little follower? And the princess is actually smiling while carrying out the order? The queen's coronation, 5. Sister-in-law, I will go right away to tell him about the situation here. However, the people in the demon realm are like wolves. I'm worried about leaving you alone with them. While in her moment of struggle, Di Xiaowan inexplicably took notice of the familiar figure slowly walking over from the front. Huang Xiaoying. The tigress actually froze for a bit at being waved down by her friend. Nevertheless, the startlement quickly changed to excitement upon seeing the much sought-after individual. Little Rice. Like a butterfly, she flutters over in gentle finesse. As for the baby white tiger in question, the poor thing nearly fell out of Bai Shachen's arms after being awoken by the dreadful voice. You stop right there. Huang Xiaoying. Di Xiaowan was pissed at her friend's shameless embarrassment. I didn't call you over just so you can flirt with your boyfriend there. Oh. The tigress tilts her head as she turned to her friend. Then what do you need me to do? Making a proud and arrogant face like her brother's, the demon princess puts up an image of someone in charge. I'm going to leave for a little bit. During this period, I want you to watch over my nephew and sister-in-law. If anyone dares to provoke them in any way, you are to give them a good lashing. Provoke my mistress? The tigress immediately swelled up with anger. Who dares to provoke my mistress? I will not let them off. Di Xiaowan's face was black. When did my sister-in-law become her mistress? However unwilling and displeased as she was over that claim, the princess knew the coronation was more important than to argue on the matter. If it was in the past, she would have gone all out with this Huang Xiaoying. I am leaving. Di Xiaowan said that with some reluctance in her voice. Also, don't forget sister-in-law is mine. If you try to fight me for her, then I will tell brother to reference you a man at random so that you be married off promptly. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Huang Xiaoying just gawked her mouth in surprise. This princess is using her power to bully others. How can she use her almighty brother to do that? Compared with the tigress's crying expression, Little Rice's reaction was a sparkling look of ecstasy. That's a wonderful idea. If this Huang Xiaoying gets married, then she will stop entangling herself with me. But when the baby white tiger wanted to add a few words to help push the idea, it was too late. Turning around to wave her goodbye, Di Xiaowan immediately disappeared from the spot and into the sky. The entire back garden was now an eerie silence. In addition, the view these attendees were shooting over were no longer that of envy or awe. It's fear, for she could command the infamous demon princess to do her beckoning. Little Rice. Ignoring them all, Huang Xiaoying continues to put on a shy face. Today my father and grandmother also came. Oh, but what does that have to do with me? Little Rice snorts and asked. Of course it matters. My grandmother wants to see her future grandson-in-law. That's why I came. Grandson-in-law? Poof, that finally scared the daylights out of the baby tiger, causing the poor guy to falter right out of Bai Shachen's arms before jolting right back in there with sob and tears. Mistress, little master, you must save me. I don't want to marry this woman. Woohoo! The queen's coronation. 6. In order to calm the feline down, Bai Yan gently caresses that fur up and down. Don't worry. I won't force anyone on you if you don't like them. However, if you do want to get married in the future, no one will stop you either. I won't. I will never want to marry her. Little Rice's expression looked aggrieved then. I only want to follow mistress for the rest of my life. I will never marry and have a family. Huang Xiaoying didn't look defeated by that proclamation though. Rather, she's all smiles and hopeful. But hubby, our mistress already said it, you will eventually want to get married too. I'm in no hurry, you will be my hubby sooner or later anyways. That instantly sends a shudder down the baby tiger's spine. Just the thought of marrying this tigress was enough to scare him. This is too intense. She's the little lass of the dragon family? Huang Xiaoying's eyes were very big after discovering Dragonis's existence. Mistress, did you kidnap her from the dragon clan? She is called Dragoni, so say hi. All smiles, Bai Yen gazes down at the little girl she's protecting. Don't worry, Dragoni. No one is going to hurt you anymore. Making the cutest smile she could muster, the little girl gives a heavy nod before turning to the tigress. Beautiful sister, you can call me Dragoni. What a good little Dragoni. Let sister give you a big kiss. In one huge sweep, Huang Xiaoying promptly leans down to give that adorable cheek a smooch. While Bai Xiaqin would never deny a kiss from his own mother, it's a very different story from another female, especially from this tigress that has left a slobbering trail of saliva on Dragoni's face. Out of a sense for survival, the little boy instinctively hides behind Bai Yan's leg to keep himself at a safe distance. It's getting late, let's go. Making puppy eyes, Huang Xiaoying cries out with both expectation and tension. Can I go too? Halting her footstep. Fine, but you can't scare little Rice. Okay. Thank you, mistress. As a result of her happy mood at being accepted, the tigress's entire existence was exuding joy. And do not call me mistress. Yes, queen. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. This time the Huang Xiaoying didn't insist, only puckering her lip a bit out of being denied once again. Nevertheless, her excitement and desire to continue onto this path just grew firmer than ever. Not far from the palace, there's a grand structure used by the various races to settle while they are in the capital. The building was built out of necessity because the chiefs of the clans are required to enter the palace every few months. It's almost time. I should enter the palace soon to participate in the queen's coronation. Sitting inside the dragon wing was a man called Long Chong Tian, the current chief of the dragon clan. Note: Long is dragon in Chinese and also the guy's surname. Husband. It was then the door to the room was pushed open by a dainty hand belonging to a white-haired woman of gorgeous contour. I just heard you let the little fool enter the palace. Is that true? Making a helpless sigh as his brow wrinkled up into a knot, Long Chong Tian turns to his wife in displeasure. Dragoni is your biological daughter. Why do you have to keep calling her the little fool? Do you know how hurtful that is? The queen's coronation, 7? Ho! Zhang Rui sneered as she evoked those lips into a satirical smile. It's not like she would understand me anyways when I call her that, but that's beside the point. Didn't we agree on letting Xiaoya enter the palace to become a consort? What if that little fool botches it for her sister by tagging along? That little fool only knows how to make trouble all day and night. I don't get why he must persist in letting that girl enter the palace. Damn it! Did you forget the prophecy made by the family elders? Dragoni is destined to become extraordinary since her birth. She may not be soaring now, but I know she will eventually do so. Taking another sip from his teacup, Long Chong Tian casually reminds his wife. That did not sit well with Zhang Rui at all, shaking all over from annoyance. If it wasn't for those blasted elders, then I wouldn't have had such high hopes for that little fool to begin with. The bigger the expectation, the bigger the disappointment. How could a fool soar in their lifetime anyways? The dragon woman was left utterly stunned by her husband's word, sneering after the initial stupor. As if that could ever happen when Xiaoya is so outstanding. If my daughter could not enter His Majesty's eye, then there's no way that little fool could do it. I don't care. You go pick that girl up right now. I will not allow her to ruin Xiaoya's future. Towards that little fool, her feelings have already changed from disappointment to disgust. In fact, if not for the girl being her own biological daughter, this Zhang Rui would have choked her to death already in order to protect the reputation for their clan. Enough! Long Chong Tian snaps, slamming the table with his hand as she stood up. Talk about being short-sighted. No matter it be Xiaoya or Dragoni, both are our daughters. If either one of them can get into His Majesty's eye, then it will undoubtedly help our clan into becoming an existence second only to the royal family. The dragon woman didn't refute her husband's claim despite having different opinions. You should go prep yourself too. I will be entering the court soon to greet the king. Long Chong Tian's tone sounded annoyed now as he waved his wife away. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. As unwilling as she was over this treatment, Zhang Rui knew she couldn't win this fight. Biting that lip, the dragon woman was just about to leave by opening the door when a pink figure plowed into her from the outside. Xiaoya, what happened? Did that little fool cause trouble again and made you take the blame? The mother groans at that possibility. Mother! Long Xiaoya cried in a miserable fashion. The fool humiliated me in public. All I did was reprimand her a bit, and she directly complained to the queen. What? You met the queen, the queen? Zhang Rui exclaims, her eyes sparking with uncertainty. When sending her daughter to the palace, she has already instructed the girl not to cross this supposed queen in any way because of Ditsong's extreme fondness for Bai Yan. But who could have thought the meeting would happen so quickly, and that it would turn out this way, much in thanks due to that little fool. Mother, the queen. She seems to know about my reason for approaching her. I bet she is likely afraid of me snatching the king's favor away. That's why she threw me out of the palace and forbade me from entering. All teary in her face, Long Xiaoya looked a little haggard after crying so much. The queen's coronation, 8. Zhang Rui's face instantly changed. How can she do that? Is the queen such a jealous person that she would drive you out just to keep the king from meeting you? Does His Majesty know about this? His Majesty wasn't present, of course. If he was, then I know he wouldn't have allowed it to happen. Lowering her eyes, the last departing words of Bai Yan continues to echo beside Long Xiaoya's ear. She didn't dare repeat those words again in front of her parents. Husband. The mother gnashes her teeth in frustration. The queen must be jealous of Xiaoya's beauty. That's why she expelled our daughter out of the palace. You must help your own daughter and not let that woman occupy the king by herself. If there is no consensus from the king, then do you think the queen would be so arrogant? By the way, where is Dragoni? Why did she not return with you? The tearful girl immediately grew fierce and angry in the eyes at the mention of that little fool. She left with the queen. Long Chong Tian's iris sparkled with light at the knowledge. You mean Dragoni is already by the queen's side? HMPF. Long Xiaoya grinds her molars in frustration. We've been blindsided by that little fool. She actually pretended to be sad and pitiful before the queen. Now not only did that woman have the pretext to expel me from the palace grounds, that mortal is also using the little fool to ruin me. Father, I've warned you before, now look what's happening. Enough? The father impatiently cuts off his daughter. Getting late. You two should clean up and get ready. We need to go greet the king at the court. Visit my site on Cat Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases that brought on great joy to the deceitful girl. Father, does that mean I can continue to enter the palace? Aha. Long Chong Tian gives a faint nod of confirmation. As long as the order didn't come from the king or princess, then it's fine. The queen is just a human mortal without a firm foothold in this world. As long as you stay by my side, then no one can touch you. Pausing then to go over his words. I'm afraid becoming a consort would be difficult now. However, I will definitely find a way to send you to the king's side. Whether or not you can succeed in winning his heart will depend on your own capabilities. Don't worry, father. I will definitely have the king accept me. Long Xiaoya puts on a happy smile. The king back then never experienced the joy of being with a woman and doesn't understand anything. But now, that gate has been pried wide open, so he will definitely understand. The palace of the king has always been heavily guarded, and out of respect for their lord and master, the chiefs of the various clans must be dismounted upon entry. Therefore, Long Xiaoya was already walking by her father's side long before they arrived at the gates. Why? Why are you people not letting me inside? I am the second miss of the Dragon clan. Based on what authority can you lowly guards stop me from entering? The girl was furious at being blocked while her parents were easily allowed through. Miss, it's not I who is forbidding you from entering. It's the queen who banned you for life. One of the gatekeepers explained. The queen's coronation? 9. Long Xiaoya's face had gone from white to blue as more and more people gathered around to see what's the commotion all about. In the end, the girl could only turn to her father Long Chongtian for help. Good sir, I'm her father and the current chief of the dragon clan. The dragon man says, I know you are the dragon chief. Have I not let you in already? The gatekeeper casts a glance at the man before turning back around. As for your daughter Miss Xiaoya here, I'm afraid the order stays since it came directly from the queen herself. Darkening a notch in his expression, the dragon chief's voice grew stern and heavy. I know the fourth elder of the demon council. He's a member of my clan. What? The dragon chief asks with a wrinkled brow. Dragon chief, your information network seems to be lacking. Although your dragon clan is far away from the capital and wasn't present when it happened, nevertheless, it's strange no one bothered to inform of you of the incident. Looking up and down like he's watching a fool now, the gatekeeper didn't bother to hide the fact he's enjoying the situation. Sire have made it clear that the Queen's command stands above all else, and that even His Majesty must be taken in second. Do you still want me to violate the Queen's order now? Seriously, this chief from the dragon family is trying to ruin me. As if I would be so stupid to really listen to him or anyone else for that matter at this point. Impossible. Under strain of this heavy news, Zhang Rui's eyes instantly went mad. But just as she's about to lash out to badmouth Bai Yan in front of the public, her father moved first and promptly covered up that mouth with his hand. I really didn't know about any of these things. Long Chongtian's complexion was ghastly. He only knew the king was extremely fond of the queen, but not to such an extent of spoiling the woman. Now that you know, are you going to have your daughter here leave or what? If the queen discovers this, the gatekeeper smiles threateningly, indicating to his sheathed weapon on what would happen if so. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Xiaoya. Go back. The father snaps, the voice stern and serious. Father. The girl pops her eyes with disbelief. This is my only chance. If I miss it, then the one standing beside the king will be the other women out there. Go back immediately. This is an order. Long Chongtian's face turned dark and won't know for an answer. First giving a final stare up at the imposing structure of the palace. Then back at the ground. Long Xiaoya knew she couldn't win this. Gritting her teeth, the girl turns away towards the other direction. What is so great about the queen? She's only the first woman of the king. In the future there will be countless more coming. I like to see her keep up that arrogant attitude by then. Husband. Zhang Rui was filled with resentment as she watched her own daughter leave from their spot. That woman is too. Shut up. The husband snaps at his wife as well. This is the palace, not our home. Do you not know the saying of calamity comes from the mouth? If you really get into trouble, you can forget about me helping you. The dragon mother immediately shuts her mouth as instructed. In light of that scared and whitish appearance, the only thought running through the woman's heart was curses and foul words at Bai Yan. Compared with the noisy commotion outside, the White Moon Palace was relatively quiet. If there's anything of notable disturbance, though, it had to be the infamous Huang Xiaoying. The tigress was staring at Little Rice with infatuated eyes and refuses to budge until multiple gasps caught her attention. It was Bai Yan, adorned with a peerless red dress of immaculate creation. This bride looked absolutely incredible with the thin layer of makeup powder on her already amazing contour.